I just love the sound of that anthem at this time of year. It always makes me feel as if spring is around the corner. So it's such a shame that it's a bitterly cold evening in Milan and there's snow surrounding the city.
Well, it's a bit cold, I'll give you that. It's a bit parky. As I say, I was here last week and it was 4 or 5 degrees colder again, and it was absolutely
You're a tough
Baltic.
Scot. You're a tough Scot.
It's not affecting the fans here. I mean, the sign to our right here, it looks absolutely fantastic. They've got the choreographed singing, they've got the choreographed banners, and they're absolutely loving it. They are not quite full, but it's still a fabulous atmosphere.
Already it's a good night for AC Milan, because in Serie A the early kick-off finished Parma 0, Juventus 0, which means that AC Milan are still top of Serie A tonight, a point ahead of their Turin rivals. Let me give you the two teams. Arsenal all in yellow. The goalkeeper is Chesney. The defence, Sagna, Vermaelen, Koscielny and Gibbs. Then we've got Song, Arteta, Ramsey, Walcott, Van Persie and Rosicky. AC Milan's goalkeeper is Abbiati. Their defence, Abate, Mexes, Thiago Silva and Antonini. Then we've got Seedorf, who's their skipper, Van Bommel and Nocerino. Then Boateng, and finally Robinho and Ibrahimovic. And I was reminded in those commentary clips that I must have seen Ibrahimovic play well once. But that's the only time I remember him playing well.
There was one particular time where he was playing against Liverpool, and it was at Anfield. And I swear after 60 minutes I'm thinking, is he on the field? Because I hadn't seen him touch the ball. It was absolutely awful. One other little point we were mentioning beforehand about the state of the pitch, particularly in the wide areas, very noticeable that in the warm-up beforehand, both teams done passing regimes all the way throughout the warm-up in that area to get used to the passing. Now I watched the movement of the ball, and actually it didn't look too bad. There didn't look to be too many bobbles in it, so it may well be that it looks bad, but it's not as bad as it looks.
I'm sure Ibrahimovic isn't remotely concerned that I haven't seen him play that well too often. I have the same feeling about Filippo Inzaghi, who's actually been left out of the Champions League squad by Milan.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal, his goal scoring records. I watched a great deal. I've sat here watching games with him before, and he is, and it sounds horrible, one of the worst players I've ever seen. But what a goal scorer, what a phenomenal goal scorer. And Sir Alex Ferguson was famously one of the great quotes of any player ever: that boy was born offside. But I think he's getting beyond the age where he can really operate at this level frequently.
AC Milan in their red and black striped shirts, white shorts, black socks. Arsenal all in yellow tonight. The referee is from Hungary. He's the man who was in charge of last season's Champions League final at Wembley, Victor Kasai. Just waiting for the signal from television that he can blow his whistle, which he does now, and we're underway into the nitty-gritty of the greatest club competition in the world. And Arsenal, shouldn't feel any particular concern, though that wasn't a great start. The ball squirts away on the far side of the field to Robinho, just to the right of the Arsenal penalty area. Lots of yellow shirts back in defensive positions. Robinho plays it back to Nocerino, and then it's knocked in by Abate, brought down by Ibrahimovic, flicked on Seedorf's offside.
But once again, great. He's only had 2 touches of the ball so far, Ibrahimovic, but that touch was perfect. Took it under control, plenty of players around him, and he played the great vision ball behind him over the top of his head, only half a yard offside. The officials got it right, but it was great vision.
Song just played it off Van Bommel, who's one of just 2 players on the pitch in terms of the starting 11s who are at risk of suspension. The other one is Arsenal's Rosicky. It's with Nocerino, the bearded Nocerino, out to the far side, and Abate back to the French central defender, Mexes. Great noise here at the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. Not every seat is taken though, particularly in the end to our left, and it's the upper 2 tiers behind the goal to the left that feature the Arsenal fans. Arsenal in possession at the moment now with Rosicky. On now to Ramsey. Ramsey leaves it for Gibbs, and then it's played forward to Rosicky again. Rosicky springs away from a defender, shoots right-footed wide of goal. In fact, the extra assistant on the goal line had to duck to avoid the ball. It was that wide.
Yeah, almost had an effect in the game. That's unusual for his breed. But we had good play there from Rosicky. He's cut in from the left-hand side there. I mean, I suspect it's on the right-hand side. we'll see much more of Walcott going forward, being a more attacking threat. But on the left there, Rosicki quite capable of getting up as well. The teams are very fairly matched, and as both you and Mike mentioned beforehand, Milan have started with a very obvious diamond with two strikers up front with Ibrahimovic and Robinho, and they don't really mind which side they play, right or left.
Vermaelen played the ball to Gibbs. Gibbs slipped, and as a result it's out of play for a throw into AC Milan. And then they rather squander the throw-in now, the advantage of the throw-in. It's knocked forward by Koscielny. Milan were going to win it back. Goodness, that foot was very high from Nocerino. And yes, indeed, the referee's quite right. He's given a free kick to Arsenal.
Not a lot more than that, though, but the referee was desperate to give Arsenal a free kick there. He got in the way of a decent pass and stopped the ball going to Robin van Persie, so he was desperate to give a free kick to Arsenal.
Ramsey after the free kick to Sagna. And on the near side now, Theo Walcott. Won't like the surface on either flank, but he's still got the pace to trouble AC Milan. The ball's out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Arsenal midway inside the AC Milan half. Arsene Wenger wisely has decided to don a coat. Did he need long to realise how cold it is in Milan? Anyway, throw-in taken. Good play by Walcott. Walcott to Ramsey. Ramsey couldn't take the ball in his stride, and he squirts back to the goalkeeper Abiati.
There's a wee chance there for Walcott. It's a bit of a shame for him, because we now always question his final ball, because he has made so many mistakes, when he's one and goalkeepers. But once again, they had great turn, takes two players out of play. Could have maybe gone and really attacked the central defenders there, but passed it instead, and the chance went begging.
It's a good ball to the left side from Milan to Seedorf, their captain. On now to Boateng. Boateng left of the penalty area. Back heels the ball to Seedorf. Right on the edge of the penalty area. The shot towards the near post, but into the side netting.
It's actually quite an open game. Maybe more so than I expected in the early passages of play. And Milan, for me, looked very, very sharp going forward there. And coming in from the left-hand side, Seedorf. To be honest, I thought it was an absolute stick-on to go for the back post. He went for the near post there, and it would take some shot to beat the keeper. Chesney from there.
Something wrong with the ball. He must have put such power into that shot, Seedorf, he burst the ball. I exaggerate, they're having to replace it anyway. AC Milan, on the last three occasions they've reached the last 16 of the Champions League, have gone out to English sides. Tottenham, Manchester United, and before them Arsenal. That was 4 years ago. Ball played forward to Ibrahimovic. Good control by Ibrahimovic, just outside the Arsenal penalty area, beating Arteta. Oh no, it was Koscielny was trying to beat. He tried to cross the ball, Koscielny blocked it, and it's behind for a corner.
Slightly concerning for Arsenal fans.
He started brightly.
Yeah, definitely Ibrahimovic is up for this one. Personally, I thought it was offside when that ball was played through.
5 minutes gone on 5 Live. Corner to AC Milan, played in deep and headed carefully away on the far side of the field by the Arsenal defender. Mexic just lets the ball run out of play. It's going to be a throw-in to AC Milan.
I'll tell you, just a little moment from a corner kick there. The Arsenal marking at the back post was dreadful beyond belief. And he found himself there, Vermaelen, with two men on him, two centre-backs on him on his own.
Throw taken into Robinho in the penalty area, and Robinho has won a corner, has he? Yeah, I think he has. The assistant flagged immediately. So AC Milan have started quite brightly here.
And it's again one of those things. I mean, British fans know about Robinho. He can disappear out of games, and he can be non-existent as well. And he's another one who started fairly brightly in this game.
Robinho is close to where the corner kick is going to be taken. In fact, Seedorf moves away from the ball now and leaves it for the Brazilian to take. Or maybe it's just a tap to Seedorf. The Arsenal defence hasn't retreated enough. Now it has, and it's tapped to Seedorf, the corner. Then played into the penalty, the Arsenal penalty area, headed away. Still in a dangerous area here for Arsenal. Nocerino tried to pass the ball forward, but Arsenal can counter-attack here. It's with Ramsey. And Walcott making a great break through the middle. It's played in his direction, but Antonini, the left-back, should be able to cut that out, and does so. And that's carefully played away by AC Milan. Now it's with Nocerino, and a good ball in field. Thankfully Arsenal pick up possession. Song over the halfway line. Leaves it for Arteta. They're the two deepest in the Arsenal midfield. Ramsey's further forward, as is Rosicki. Ball's back though inside the Arsenal half, and it's with Vermaelen. Edge of the centre circle. And then he glides the ball, the pass to the right side. Good control by Sagna, and he makes room to move forward, and then he tried to play it to Walcott. Walcott, I don't know, tripped over his own feet and lost possession, and Seedorf plays the ball back to goalkeeper Abiati, and Abiati's first touch was poor, and his clearance was wretched too, but Sanya couldn't head it to a colleague. Instead he headed it to Mexes, and now the goalkeeper can clear.
Again, it's still a very open game. The ball's been played long again. At one moment it's at one side. The midfield's getting missed out quite a few times, and it is lengthening the game. And when the game's lengthened, it makes space, and good players make good use of space, and there are a few good players out there.
Rosicki for Arsenal to Sanya, and it's good to see Arsenal taking every opportunity to attack. I don't want to see them sit back here. I think AC Milan are vulnerable actually at the Giuseppe Meazza. Song plays it back to Koscielny, Vermaelen, and now Arteta. Oh, poor from Arteta, and it's taken up by Robinho. Robinho onto Boateng, and Ibrahimovic waits for the pass and controls the pass just outside the penalty area. Lucky to get the ball back off a defender. Still has it, Ibrahimovic, and now he plays it through Van Bommel to the far side of the field, and Abate up to the edge of the penalty area, crosses, takes the deflection into the side netting, corner.
All came from bad play from Arteta. You cannot give the ball away in those sort of areas at this level, because teams will punish you, and you'll get good attacks. When it gets down to Ibrahimovic, he goes and pushes over, but there's been an injury down there, and I suspect the change is going to be made almost immediately.
Well, what's happened here?
As Seedorf's gone down, Emmanuelson's getting ready to come on. It looks almost like a hamstring the way they're pulling his leg up, so give him a moment or two.
It's going to be a corner to AC Milan, and it's played in from the right, played in deep, and goodness gracious, that was just missed by an attacking AC Milan player, and it's cleared by Arsenal up over the halfway line. Controlled well by Gibbs, and then a touch let him down. His ball was taken off, and then he wins it back, and it's found by Ramsey. Ramsey a yard outside the penalty area, played it towards Van Persie. I don't think Van Persie touched the ball yet after the kick-off, and now it's out of play, and it's going to be a throw into AC Milan.
There have been a couple of times when Ramsey's found himself in interesting positions and has tried to play what we would call the World Cup ball. We'll call it the Champions League ball tonight, and he's just not been capable of doing that. He's constantly looking for the difficult ball there through to Robin Van Persie. Only needs one of them to work, and it will create a chance for Van Persie.
Seedorf seems to be okay. He's back on the pitch. There's only one obstruction to our view here at this magnificent stadium. We have got railings in front of the commentary position, and it is at times difficult to see the near touchline, and that's where Seedorf went down. Here's Walcott forward for Arsenal, right edge of the AC Milan penalty. Tried to get the cross in early, blocked by Antonini. Now it's swung in by Sanya, cleared by Milan. Ibrahimovic brings the ball under control and plays it back to his captain Seedorf. Seedorf steps away from Ramsey, hits it away towards the far side of the field, where it shouldn't have reached Nocerino, but it was a mistake by Gibbs. Nocerino midway inside the Arsenal half. Milan right, hits it crossfield, intercepted by Sanya. It is very open.
It's incredibly open. There's so much space out there. Such a long game. It is not what you expect the Champions League at this level against, Arsenal and a Milan team who you expect to be slightly more defensive. The only concern I have got for Arsenal just now, I think they're leaving Gibbs slightly unprotected in that far side there. I don't think they should be doing that just now.
Here's Rosicki, the man who's meant to provide defensive backup for Gibbs. That's what we thought. We thought that's why Oxlade-Chamberlain was left out of the side. Arsenal get the ball off Antonini. Walcott back to Ramsey. Arteta was available. Ramsey played it to Sanya instead. Back to Ramsey once more. Sanya takes it up, almost level with the edge of the Milan penalty. Not a good pass forward, and then there's a foul by Ramsey on Van Bommel, and it's a free kick to AC Milan.
It's a real shame there, because Arsenal had the ball in a good position down in the right hand side there, on the right wing, and what you actually needed at that point was a bit of intelligent movement. But as I speak just now, they are going to make a change. It looks as if Seedorf
is coming off.
Yeah, he's not going to make it,
and it's Emmanuelsson who will come on.
Yeah, I mean, Emmanuelsson.
And he's a wide player.
Yeah, he's quick. He can also play one end off the wide area. So, I mean, if they need to play him as the one off the diamond, on the kind of left or right hand side of the diamond, he can play either side. Very quick player, good young, and, decent skills as well, but fairly light.
Well, that's a bad for AC Milan, having to lose their captain. Another Dutchman who comes on. Emmanuelsson. Now, we'll see whether he'll play in the rough patch. on this flank, this left flank for AC Milan. If you haven't heard, basically they replaced the turf between the edge of the penalty area on both sides and the touchline, and it's an awful strip that's run down each side of the pitch. Bumpy, not clever. Ibrahimovic takes the ball off Song, and Ibrahimovic picks out the substitute, Emmanuelson, on towards Robinho. Wasn't the greatest of passes, and it should be cleared by Arsenal. Then the ball comes out off Walcott's going to be a throw-in to AC Milan. Nearly 13 minutes played, AC Milan 0, Arsenal 0, but it's refreshingly open, this Champions League game here in Milan. Throw-in to the Italian side, and then it's hooked in by Cambridge. Brilliantly played back, and the shot quickly fed goalwards by Emmanuelson, wide of goal. I think Chesney was beaten.
I think we're beginning to understand about Ibrahimovic a wee bit more today. He's having one of those days. I've been watching him closely. He hasn't given the ball away yet, and he's had plenty of the ball. But that little touch back there was absolutely brilliant. There were very, very little space for him to get the ball back into the path of Emmanuelson. He managed to do that, kill the pace and create the chance. And I also have to say something that's not often said about Ibrahimovic: unselfish play.
I'm a bit worried that he's showing so well tonight. I just want him to have his normal stinker when I'm watching him play. Not so in the opening 13 and a half minutes. AC Milan 0, Arsenal 0. The ball is played in the direction of Boateng. Good control by Kevin Prince Boateng. Left edge of the Arsenal penalty area. Knocks it back to Emmanuelson. Half thought about the shot it seemed, but played it instead to Boateng. Onto Emmanuelson, and Arsenal let him go. Defender comes across now. Ball still inside that penalty area. Arsenal have to get this clear. And finally it is smacked clear by Sanya. That was rather risky defending by Arsenal. It's hooked in again. Song's attempted interception, not that effective. Gibbs clear, and it's out of play, and this is a good spell for AC Milan.
No, the fans can feel it as well. They're pushing forward. Oddly enough, I'm not convinced that change has weakened Milan. I think Emmanuelson's very, very lively. As I said, he's quick, but he's also wanting to go forward every time he gets the ball, and maybe a little bit more energy than Seedorf has got at his age.
Robinho towards Antonini, the left back, up around the edge of the penalty area, but he just throws the Arsenal player over. It's has he given a goal kick or a free kick? Well, either one will take.
Funnily enough, Sanya's gone down there. Often players are pushed and they throw themselves to the ground, and Sanya's seriously fed up. They done that because it wasn't grass he jumped onto, it was AstroTurf, and he'll have burnt knees right now.
Yeah, it was a goal kick, and it wasn't particularly well dealt with in the end by Chesney. Here's Nocerino in. Cambridge project shoots. AC Milan are in front. The shot cannon down off the underside of the crossbar. Chesney is beaten, and AC Milan were threatening to score, and they have scored with a quarter of an hour gone. AC Milan 1, Arsenal 0.
It was an absolutely fabulous goal. You won't see many better goals than that. But the defending was very, very poor indeed. He's just Boateng's gone in behind the left centre back area. No one near him at all. No one made the run with him. And that's sometimes the problem. You're playing against the diamond. Two centre forwards up front, but it's a man who's playing at the front of the diamond. You have to go and chase. You have to close him down. You have to get his deep runs, and he didn't do that there. Ball under the crossbar, hits the bottom of the crossbar. Superb goal. Not a great deal Koscielny can do about it.
Now, it was an interesting shot, wasn't it? It was hit with pace, but it was as much a lob as anything else.
Yeah, it got a lot of depth just at the end there, but I suppose there's a bit of you. I think the goalkeeper will feel as if he possibly should have got it, but he had no protection whatsoever. It was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and he led out it really there from only about 10 yards, and it's off underside of the crossbar. And it was just that 3 or 4 minutes beforehand that Arsenal gave the ball away a little bit too much, and I think they allowed Milan to come on to them. They didn't get the tackles in, and they paid the price for it now.
It was a rank goal kick. Initially played short, back to Chesney, and his clearance was poor. So Arsenal a goal down now in Milan. On the attack at the moment, Walcott into Rosicky, back to Walcott. Walcott almost collided with Ramsey. Ramsey takes it off him. Ramsey on to Sanya, right at the penalty. There's the cross, swung in towards Van Persie, headed away well by Mexes and Song from that clearance, but it's back with AC Milan. Oh, lovely touch by Ibrahimovic, finding Robinho, back to Ibrahimovic. Vermaelen trying to get across. Ibrahimovic gets to the ball first though, slides the pass in towards Robinho, just ahead of the Brazilian, and it's cleared by Koscielny. This is worrying.
Yeah, once again, but the ball that came through, the first ball in touch from Ibrahimovic was absolutely superb there, and he has given the ball away now, but at least it was trying to float Robinho through. Great vision by the big man.
Gibbs to Rosicky. Rosicky's not defending alongside Gibbs at all.
No, he is allowing him to be. Having said that, there's not a huge amount come down that side other than the goal which has come down that side, but maybe slightly more worrying. Arteta's not getting forward, and Rosicky, apart from that early shot, has had very little impact in a positive sense down that left hand side.
You're listening to the resumption of the Champions League here in Fowler. Great ball in by Rosicky. Van Persie in the penalty, angles too acute to shoot a goal, tried to set up a colleague Ramsey, but it was intercepted by the defender, and the half chance is gone.
Not the first time this has been said, but very good at defending by the Italian side, because they got plenty of men behind the ball there. Great run there by Van Persie, but by the time he got it, it's far too wide. There were two players in the middle for Arsenal, but there were 5 Italian defenders there, or 4 defenders from the Italian side.
Throw into Arsenal on the halfway line in the far side of the field. Above that touchline, a giant scoreboard reads AC Milan 1, Arsenal 0. Boateng in the 15th minute. Arteta very close to losing the ball there, but helped out by Sagna. Sagna whips it upfield towards Van Persie, who apart from that move just a moment or so ago had not been involved in the game at all.
Well, he hasn't been, but I don't think there's been any decent balls played into him. I think he's got very well, he's got no service whatsoever apart from that one ball.
Van Bommel clips it towards Robinho, but that should be intercepted by Vermaelen, and Vermaelen runs it out to play on the far side of the field. That was good work by Robinho, appreciated by the Milanese fans. 19 minutes played, 1-0 to AC Milan.
I know it's early days, Alan, but you know, Arsenal have got to survive this. I mean, it's they've got the second half at Highbury, the Emirates.
I should say. Highbury.
The Emirates, I should say. And the one thing is, they won't be as good there.
Ball's inside the Arsenal penalty area. Robinho ran after it, but it was shepherded behind by the defender. And this has not been a clever 5-6 minutes for Arsenal.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all it takes in these games, you know. And teams got a little bit of a lift, and you know, funnily enough, Boateng's just looked that much better. You know, it seems that since the change was made, Emmanuelson comes on. He wants to get forward as much as possible. They look as if they're happy to be let off the leash, and you know, the back four don't get forward. The right back, the left full back for Milan haven't got up the park at all yet. The defenders are defending, just letting everyone else go forward, and they've got one man sitting right in front of them there, Van Bommel, and he knows how to patrol that area.
Song with an needless foul on Boateng. Free kick to AC Milan just to the right of the centre circle. Slapped to the left by Van Bommel for Robinho. Robinho, good ball to the left side, and Antonini, early cross into the penalty area, blocked by the body of Sagna. Rebounds though to Ibrahimovic, who's really starred so far in these opening minutes. Ibrahimovic seemed to be fouled there, tried to get the ball back to a colleague. The referee saw nothing wrong with the challenge, and it's hit upfield, and throw-in taken. And ball played across. Nocerino with a shot just over the crossbar. My goodness.
Again, it's that right hand side, Alan. It's the right hand side. Gibbs, he's over there, but I'm not blaming him. He's just not getting any help whatsoever. When the ball's come out there, and in this occasion, Nocerino gets on the end of it, but you've got him. You've also got Kevin Prince Boateng going into that area. I get the feeling they've looked at Gibbs in that area, the feeling that he's just back, he's not getting any support from his left midfield, and that is where the Italians want to attack as much as possible.
A very worrying 21 minutes played here in Milan. AC Milan 1, Arsenal 0. The Italian side not flattered by that scoreline and threatening to double their lead. And Arsenal have just got to dig in here, find a decent 10 minutes. Thiago Silva to Van Bommel. Van Bommel approaching the halfway line, plays it to the left back Antonini, who chips it forward. Robinho's after it and controls it edge of the penalty area, helped by Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic then, great ball to the far side, and Abate drives a shot come cross in, lucky it hit Rosicky, and Arteta runs it clear for Arsenal. Arteta to Rosicky on the far side of the field. Van Persie is far too isolated. There's no Arsenal player within 30 yards of the captain. Ball played to the left side to Gibbs, back to Arteta. Arteta and Song have been overrun in the centre of that Arsenal midfield so far. Pass to the right side, and Sagna onto Walcott. no Arsenal player in the penalty area. Walcott delays, unsure of what to do, finds Sanya into Van Persie. Van Persie holds off the challenge, and then having to run backwards initially, but now plays it through to Sanya. Sanya strongly tackled by Antonini, and the ball squirts out of play. It's going to be a throw into AC Milan.
I've now seen 4 or 5 times in the last 5 or 6 minutes on that far right hand side, the ball's going over there, and there is acres of space, and they're taking it in turns, the Milan players, to go down that right hand side and having pop shots at goal. And I just feel sorry for Gibbs. Kieran Gibbs is just completely overrun, and I can't find myself to blame him, because he's ended up facing 2 players every time the ball's crossed over there.
So far it's a really good game, but we're not enjoying it because of the scoreline. AC Milan 1, Arsenal 0, and here's Mike Ingham.
Well, around about a month ago, knowing he was coming here, Arsene Wenger would have been quite pleased, I think, with AC Milan's form, because they had a real wobble when they came off their midwinter break. But the victory at Udinese at the weekend has really pumped them up, and it's Robinho now looking to find Ibrahimovic, and the Milan let it bounce, and Ibrahimovic is there, and it was poor defending, and Arsenal will scramble. Ibrahimovic is appealing for a penalty, and in fact the free kick is given against him. But Milan was looking for Szczesny to come out. Neither of them took responsibility, and Ibrahimovic almost punished them.
I think there's 2 Zlatan Ibrahimovic's out there. There's the one guy that we see sometimes that never bothers to get above a jog. He walks about as if it's too much hard work for him. There's a guy we're seeing today who's absolutely fabulous. He has been the complete centre forward. He's chased everything down there, showing brilliant pace, great touch. I do not hesitate for a second. It's a quarter of a game of world-class centre forward play we've seen from Ibrahimovic today, and it just shows you the reason why so many clubs play so much for him, because he has got that in him. He had no right to win that there, Mike, and he got there.
Milan 1, Arsenal 0 on 5 Live, and I did say before the game that for me the big question mark about Arsenal now at this lofty level would be, could they defend properly, because they haven't been defending, and the goal they conceded was really not clever at all. Began with the poor clearance from the goalkeeper Szczesny. Anyway, Arsenal have a free kick now. Robin Van Persie standing over the ball 30 yards away from Abiati's goal, and Van Persie is going to lift this into the penalty area. Header came in, it was a soft one in the end from Koscielny, and it was an easy save from Abiati. Arsene Wenger was stressing more than once when we were talking to him yesterday about the importance of a strong start in this game, and they came out reasonably brightly. I always think it's interesting with Walcott, if he doesn't beat his fullback in the first 4 or 5 minutes, he tends to go into his shell. We haven't really seen him on the ball at all yet. Song is now scrambling for possession, and in the end he's been penalised by the referee for the foul, and the goal will hurt Arsenal fans even more, because of course it was scored by a former Spur who's on the ball now. Kevin Prince Boateng, the Ghanaian international, tries to get the ball down this left-hand side. Milan playing from right to left, leading 1-0. Robinho's looking really bright. Arsenal are being pushed back inside their own half here. Walcott, in the end, just about managing to win the throw-in. Sanya to take it. 15 minutes then when they scored. AC Milan, as Alan was saying, though, the goal had been coming. Emmanuelson hasn't coming on for the injured Seedorf, hasn't made a scrap of difference. He's just dovetailed into this system that they're so familiar with. And now Arsenal looking to try and get going inside the Milan half, and Van Persie's won himself a free kick. But they haven't had to do a lot of defending yet, Milan.
We've not really seen a lot about Thiago Silva playing at centre back there, but there's part of it that he's not given Van Persie a kick either. I think he's played really, really well tonight. His marking has been fantastic. He's I really rate him very, very highly as a player. So one of those ones, Brazilian, he just quietly goes about his game, but I suspect he's first choice every single time.
Here comes Koscielny now, and there's no one from Milan coming towards him, so he ventured about 15 yards inside the Italian half, and now Rosicky wearing gloves over on the left-hand side, getting away from that rough area, looking to release Ramsey, and in the end that was dangerously played into the penalty area, and Mexis wasn't taking any chances at all, wasn't too aware where Van Persie was, and so he's conceded the corner kick, and Arteta is going to go across to take it, and it's a chance for the 2 Arsenal centre-backs now to go forward. Milan leading 1-0, and deservedly leading 1-0, but can Arsenal find a way back into this game now through this corner kick? Over on the left-hand side, to be taken by Mikel Arteta. In goes the corner kick, it's headed away by Boateng, but straight back again to Arteta. Better angle for him maybe, to try and get the cross in. Hasn't got the cross in yet though. He's being held up now by Abate. Should have got it in first time. Still Arteta hasn't got it in. Now he's going to lose possession if he's not careful. Arsenal have to play the ball back, way back now into midfield. and it's neatly played down the right-hand side for Sanya. Still lots of yellow shirts in the penalty area. If Sanya can get it in, but he hasn't. He decides to go backwards, and there's an opportunity missed there by Arsenal to progress. Back on the halfway line now. They're just lacking a bit of ruthlessness here, Arsenal. That extra pass too many, but they have to get back into this game. Rosicky over on the left-hand side. Shuffles infield, away from that rough area. Still Rosicky. Ball played in, too many passes again in midfield from Arsenal. Looking for that killer pass, and Milan will try and counter-attack here now. Emmanuelson into Boateng, who's looking really sharp. Not Chirino, getting away easily from Gibbs, and finds Ibrahimovic wide on the right. Little floater from him, but it'll be killed on the edge of the area by Song. Arsenal take possession, have to be careful here. Song onto Gibbs, and then Gibbs with a terrible ball out of defence, straight back into Milan's midfield once more. Really poor play by Gibbs, and now Arsenal concede a free kick and they're under more pressure.
Interesting period of play that you're talking about, Mike, and it came from that left-hand side. Arteta 3 or 4 times, actually it's probably 5 or 6 times he tried to get the cross and then didn't. And you could maybe say that he should have got the cross in earlier. I don't think it was on. I think it was brilliant defending from the fullback. He didn't dive in, he didn't sell himself. I was really impressed by that defending there by Abiata.
Yep, Mexis with a ball in, which Arsenal have headed away very poorly. Rubinho's ball in now to the dangerous Boateng. Arsenal clear, and in the process Koscielny slips but manages to find touch. Milan with the throw, leading 1-0. Van Bommel, of course, is playing just in front of the back four. Now Mexis inside the Arsenal half, down the centre, looking to find Ibrahimovic. 2 Arsenal defenders there. Koscielny volleys it out of the penalty area. Antonini, though, heading the ball back again for Milan down this left-hand side. 1-0 they lead. The champions, of course, of Italy, and currently 1 point clear of Juventus, who have a game in hand. Juventus, Donadoni, the former Milan player, doing them a favour with his Parma side holding Juventus 0-0 in the earlier kick-off today. So Milan have been given a real lift in the last couple of days. That victory away to Udinese as well was really well won. They had to come from behind to do it as well. Ball back with the bald goalkeeper Abbiati away to our right. Hasn't really had to do very much yet. Abbiati's ball onto the substitute Emmanuelson, who played it very hurriedly, and Arsenal will get this ball back inside the centre circle, but they're just lacking a bit of conviction here and a bit of belief and a bit of authority. Szczesny in their goal away to the left finds Arteta. They just want a little bit more from him, I think. Now Koscielny again down the right-hand side. Long one from Koscielny, looking to find Van Persie. Overhit though, out comes the keeper.
Once again, it was very interesting. The ball went out to Gibbs there at left back. It was passed out to him by the goalkeeper, and Abati was straight onto him. That's the full-back closing right down on him. They really want to put pressure on Gibbs just now. Ibrahimovic
is proving to be real heavyweight handful for Koscielny and Vermaelen, and they're just winning the battles at the moment in midfield. AC Milan, as Van Bommel finds Mexis inside the Arsenal half. He's a defender, remember. Rubinho skips around the challenge from Vermaelen and releases Ibrahimovic, but there's an offside. But it was great football, Pat, wasn't it? It was very sharp football.
I'm not sure about that at all. Sanya runs out with his hand up. I'm just not sure. I think Koscielny and possibly even Vermaelen as well was behind a tight call. Let's have a look when the ball's actually played. Yeah, they've got it right, but well done, the officials get it right by about a yard. But I'll tell you what, Sanya took a wee chance there.
They need to hang in here, Arsenal. They really do need to have something, of course, to build on in the return leg at the Emirates. But the way Milan are playing, you wouldn't bet against them scoring again in this match. They're 1-0 up, and there's not a lot of threat from Arsenal. They are unable at the moment to get Walcott on the ball down the right-hand side to take on Antonini. And Arsenal now looking for some possession. Sanya.
It's not great imagination, Mike, is it?
No.
The only player so far who's tried to be a little imaginative is Rosicky, and it hasn't really quite come off from him, but at least he's trying. More terrible defending.
And I'm also, as Arsenal do get the ball back with Szczesny once more, I'm also very impressed with the way Milan are working here as well. They're really, really pressing Arsenal well in midfield.
Well, not just in midfield, but also, in the full-back areas. Every time they get the ball, Kevin Prince Boateng, very impressed by Prince Boateng, because he gets up there and he closes down as much as possible. Again, people won't believe this if you're just listening. Robinho's working his socks off as well. That comes as a bit of a shock to many of us. And of course Ibrahimovic as well has been brilliant. Work rate's been great. And if players of that quality put the work in as well. They are very, very tough to stop.
Ibrahimovic coming deep now to get the ball. He always reminds me of a sort of young Frank Zappa with his ponytail, Ibrahimovic, when he's really, as we've been saying, up for it tonight as Arsenal give the ball away once more, and Rubinho tried to send it through to Nocerino. Didn't measure the pass right though, but there's real danger here with Milan buzzing around in midfield. Not much is getting past Van Bommel sitting in front of the back four, and it's difficult to see a way back at the moment for Arsenal. They need a break as Van Persie misses his header, and Milan now set it up once more for Emmanuelson in midfield. Van Bommel turns it to the right, and the fullback Abate. Long one downfield in hope really. Vermeulen's there, and he's got plenty of time, and then he decides to move backwards with the ball and puts himself under pressure in that rough stuff over there. And Arsenal, right by the corner flag over on the far side, have a throw-in and Gibbs to take it. But Milan at the moment are working harder than Arsenal. They have these exciting players, but they're also really winning the battles out there.
I think maybe they can see that Arsenal defenders are spooked. You know, they're not passing it well out of defence. Every one of the Arsenal defenders has passed poorly to the opposition out of defence and caused themselves problems. And because of that, Milan have got a real lift, and as you say, they're pushing right on and causing more problems all the time. And that time, once it's Koscielny, there it was Vermaelen. If you do it in the far side there, they're worried about the bobbles. Lots going wrong for Arsenal just now.
32 minutes gone. Milan 1, Arsenal 0. So they've already managed something they didn't manage at all against Spurs last season. They didn't get a goal in either of the legs. And of course they didn't score either in the 2 games against Arsenal 4 seasons ago. So 1-0 to Milan, very good value. A real threat of another one as well as they take the throw and find Boateng, and then the cross comes in from Abate. Song's header hasn't gone very far. Antonini headed it back in again. It was a very sheepish clearance there by Arsenal, and Walcott was completely muscled out there by Antonini, who drives the ball in. Arsenal partially clear it. Cross is swung into the far side. Nocerino's there with the volley, which has gone well wide, but that was a very half-hearted attempt down there by Walcott to hold on to the ball. He was swept aside by Antonini, and once more his team came under pressure.
Mike, I shouldn't have opened my mouth about 10 minutes ago when I said the 2 fullbacks aren't getting forward. Ever since then, Abate's been up and down that line constantly, and 3 or 4 times also on the other side. Antonini's got there. He's decided he's got Walcott in his pocket at the moment, so he's thinking, I'll get forward there, I'll push Walcott back the other way.
Pat Nevins with us here, and I always feel about Walcott that the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game are very revealing, as now Ibrahimovic is there once more doing too much muscle, and he's been penalised by the referee. Takes on his fullback, and if he gets past him in the first exchange, then that usually gives him a confidence.
Well, one of the things I noticed really early on, and he wasn't even on the ball, he tried to play a 1-2 and he tried to outrun Antonini and didn't, and that is a real worry for Walcott. If he actually tries to sprint past someone and doesn't leave him 3 yards behind, he realises he's going to have to use something else more than just pure pace. And I think Theo Walcott, he may have a lot of gifts, but his main gift is his pace.
Arsenal lose their way again in midfield as Van Bommel finds Boateng. There's a very heavy challenge on Boateng. The referee was happy with it though. Boateng's gone down. Crowd, as you can hear, are not happy. Arsenal break over on the left-hand side. By the way, there were words spoken between the referee and Ibrahimovic a few moments ago. He is, of course, a volatile character, as Rosicky should have got that one through to Van Persie, but it was a nothing ball, really, and Milan clear. But there's no real pressure on the Milan defenders at the moment. Arsenal struggling here in midfield. Against Nocerino, against Van Bommel, against Emmanuelson, and also Boateng, and it really has made a difference coming back into their side to play in the forward position in the diamond behind Ibrahimovic and Rubinho, and Arsenal really not picking him up at all. Now, that's better from Walcott. Finds Song now, and a little back flick from Ramsey, but again they need more than that. Little back flick. It has to be more conviction behind it. Milan just for once give the ball away. Vermaelen though struggling here against Rubinho, and he's lost it, and Rubinho will go forward. Ibrahimovic is unmarked if he can find him, but there was a good recovery there by Koscielny, and if Rubinho had looked up and seen Ibrahimovic, that surely would have been goal number 2. The danger still not clear though. Boateng drops the ball back to Van Bommel in midfield. Here come Milan once more. Ibrahimovic completely unmarked on the left side of the area. Ball played in towards Rubinho, skied in the air by Koscielny. A lucky break as the ball drops to Arteta, who gets it out to Ramsey. There's only Van Persie downfield. He'll have to use Rosicky over on the left-hand side. 1-0 to Milan against an unconvincing Arsenal. Van Persie now wriggles away from the first defender. He was fouled by Mexis. Referees played a good advantage though for Arsenal. Can they make something from it? Arsenal again tend to make one too many passes. Rosicky, as Van Persie tries to stay on side. Sagna now down the right-hand side, whips the cross in straight onto the defender's head. Not good enough there from Sagna. And Milan lose the ball just for once in midfield. Song is there now, and can Arsenal keep this pressure up here as they chase an equaliser? It's Arteta to Rosicky. Again, they're moving sideways. Ball to the left-hand side, should have found Gibbs. Well spotted by Abate, and now Milan are coming on a counter-attack with Robinho and Ibrahimovic ahead. The ball is played away from Robinho, and it's tidied up by Arsenal's Vermaelen, and back again to goalkeeper Szczesny, whose clearance into Walcott, who seems to have deserted this rough area now. He's gone in alongside Robin van Persie, but Arsenal not getting enough possession here to trouble Milan. Ball played forward to Ibrahimovic. There's no offside. He looked offside, but he scampers down the left-hand side. He's in the penalty area. Slides the ball. It's an own goal. It's an Arsenal. No, it's not. It's Robinho, I think, who got in behind the defender. It was Robinho who got in behind the defender to score Milan's second. Well, Ibrahimovic looked very close to being offside. He was allowed to go forward, and from that moment onwards there was danger. And when the ball came in from Ibrahimovic, Robinho was there with a little downward header just in front of the defender, and Milan lead 2-0, and they are good value for it.
I have to say, the build-up to that goal, whether or not it was offside, I must admit I thought it was very, very tight. But when Ibrahimovic got himself through it, I really do think he was offside, maybe by a yard or so. But you have to go and defend it. But he had a little drag over just before he got to the line. There was only one place that he could put that ball back to that it would be a goal, and he found with his left foot right on Robinho's head, and it was as simple as a nod into the back corner. Little drag just before he plays the pass, which makes sure that the defenders can't do anything about it. I think that was quite simply brilliant by Ibrahimovic. I think he has been phenomenal in this first half. I've not seen many better centre forward displays this season than I saw from that man today.
The thing is also, about 4 or 5 minutes before then, Pat, there was a moment when Robinho stole clear, and if he'd looked up and seen Ibrahimovic, that would have been danger too. The goal's been coming.
Well, the defending, but they're playing out, not even just the defending, but the playing out from deep has been so appalling by Arsenal. Absolutely appalling, that eventually these players are going to do something about it. And because they can see Arsenal are so shaky, they've been lifted by it. And, you know, players like Ibrahimovic, they're going to go make those little chances there. And I do think there'll be big complaints afterwards, because I do think it was maybe a yard offside when he got the ball. But it doesn't matter. You have to go and defend it. Arsenal had plenty of defenders in the box, but Ibrahimovic played it in the one place that Arsenal couldn't get to.
Well, I think Pat used the word in the commentary about Ibrahimovic being very unselfish tonight, and it was a magnificent bit of creativity by him, and Robinho just getting in front of the defender with that little header to make it 2-0, and we played only 39 minutes of the game. Milan 2, Arsenal 0. And I said earlier about Arsenal needing to hang in here, certainly to try and get to half-time, but there's danger every time the ball enters their half.
They're actually now losing the headers, you know, and Koscielny has been bullied a little bit by Ibrahimovic tonight, and they're not the tallest two centre-backs in the world, and given his due, Ibrahimovic is about 6'4", 6'5", he's a tall lad, and quite often with the 6'4", 6'5" chaps, you know, they're not well balanced, but Ibrahimovic is brilliantly balanced. He uses his power really well, he jumps his height, and he's given all sorts of problems to both centre-backs for Arsenal just now, whether it's Vermaelen, whether it's Koscielny, and I think We've now got an injury as well, and I don't think Arsenal can afford that.
Well, they have to get an away goal here to have any chance at all at the Emirates Stadium for the second leg.
I think Koscielny, the way he's moving there, whether he just doesn't fancy it now because we give him a hard time.
Well, they've no Mertesacker, obviously. It would have to be Giroud who came on.
He's waving to come off.
Koscielny's got a problem. He says he's out, doesn't he? His gesture there was, I think, I'm finished.
He's called that quite early for me, because it looked to me that he just got a sore back, but...
Well, I bet Johan Giroud is looking forward to coming on and marking Ibrahimovic in this particular mood that he's in tonight. So Robinho 38, Boateng earlier after 15. Boateng shot smashed in off the underside of the bar. Mistake earlier by Szczesny really with his distribution. And then Ibrahimovic allowed to carry on despite looking offside, but got a great ball in for Robinho to do the rest. The former Manchester City man scoring here for AC Milan, and they are finding space everywhere. And here comes Abate now. finding Boateng down the right-hand side. Ibrahimovic calls for it in the penalty area. In comes the cross. Nobody came for it. Ibrahimovic got almost a downward header. And Arsenal scrambled a clearance, and it was Koscielny who made it in the end as Emmanuelson tried to pounce.
Good defending there in the back post there. Very impressive. And it had to be good defending by Sanya, I think it was, in the back post there, because had he not been there and given a little tug in Ibrahimovic, it would have been 3-0.
Robinho across the field again to Abate. They're just not closing down at all, Arsenal, over on that left-hand side. They're the left-hand side of the defence.
Mike, I think they're actually working hard enough. I think they're trying hard enough. They've just simply not been good enough on the day. I mean, all over the pitch, every battle has been won by a Milan player so far for the first 40 odd minutes of this game.
Well, it's an Arsenal midfield, of course, without Wilshere, and of course no longer with Fabregas, and it's looking a little thin this evening. Radzicki of Arsenal, can they find a way back before half-time? Ramsey trying to lift the ball over the defender, who was Thiago Silva, then he falls over, looks for a free kick. Milan sweep forward once more. Van Bommel finding Emmanuelson, into Boateng. Ibrahimovic standing in an offside position as Milan now lift the ball over the top, and it's too far ahead of the runner, who was Emmanuelson. And we're going to have Giroud coming on any second now.
He didn't need to stand offside there. All he needs to do is stand on Koscielny there, because he can't run.
Radzicki now over on the Arsenal left into the last 5 minutes of the first half. It's been a terrible first half for Arsenal. Milan leading by 2-0. There could have been others as well. Milan looking very, very comfortable here as they clear and they find Robinho really up for it alongside Ibrahimovic. Emmanuelson, who's really picked up the pace of the game since he came on for the injured Seedorf. Now Abate over on the right-hand side. Arsenal really struggling to get the ball here. It's back with Mexis, the Frenchman. Mexis to Nocerino has been a really good signing for them. Mexis again now onto Boateng. Arsenal desperate trying to get the ball off Boateng. There was a boot that was too high there, though, from Boateng.
He's looked great, Boateng,
it's
hasn't
a
he?
free kick. Yeah.
Boateng's looked absolutely fabulous. He's all flicks and tricks. But it's not just fan dancing. He's really comfortable. He's playing balls and good balls, and at the end of it, he has looked very sharp tonight, full of confidence, and very worrying times. It's all over the park going forward that Arsenal have got problems. They actually, it's a finger in the dike there. They don't know where to stop it now.
This is the last thing they need. A minute before half-time to have to replace Koscielny, the centre-back. Giroud, the Swiss international, comes on. Vermaelen doesn't even look at him, doesn't even speak or anything. Arsenal have got the free kick. They're just announcing the substitution here. Milan lead 2-0, and Arsenal have to find an away goal from somewhere here.
An away goal would make it,
Yes.
very interesting indeed.
Arteta now sliding the ball to the anonymous Walcott, really. Heading the ball back to Sanya. Arsenal need to regroup at half-time. And maybe we need to see Oxlade-Chamberlain in the second half, as well as Szczesny's clearance. Takes his time over it, and then lifts it straight through to Thiago Silva, who immediately gives it back to goalkeeper Albiati. There'll be a minute or so of time to be added on, I guess, because of the Seedorf injury. Long ball downfield. Ibrahimovic has just had too much power tonight for the Arsenal centre-backs. Ibrahimovic this time just showing too much aggression on the ground against Song, and it's a free kick to Arsenal quickly taken. Ball over on the left with Gibbs. One more chance maybe for Arsenal to go forward, but it's so slow, the movement. There's no belief at all.
They haven't really created a chance,
No.
Arsenal, tonight. There's been a couple of through balls from the left-hand side from Radzicki. He had a shot within the first 2 or 3 minutes as well, which went very far wide, almost hit the assistant. But apart from that, no real creativeness. They've tried very hard, they've put the work in, but nothing that's really troubled goalkeeper.
Just playing for half-time at the moment. They're playing the 2 minutes of added time there will be as goalkeeper Szczesny clears towards Sanya down the right-hand side, jumping with Emmanuelson. It's out of play as Wenger gets the ball and gives it to his fullback Sanya. Much for Wenger to try and sort out in the break coming up. Arteta on the halfway line. Again, the ball has to go backwards. Milan are closing the gaps all around Arsenal's midfield. Vermaelen now to Song. Song over on that left-hand side. The ball goes into Radzicki. Hasn't really done too much, Radzicki. Van Persie's waiting on the edge of the area. Again, it was delayed though. Now it goes into Van Persie, but it's brilliantly intercepted by Thiago Silva, the Brazilian defender. And now Ibrahimovic giving Giroud a hard time for the first time. And then the ball played forward brilliantly down the right-hand side to Boateng in the penalty area. Cross shot from Boateng is, in the end, skimming the net and wide. And Arsenal were completely opened up.
Do you know the phrase unplayable that's often said about centre forwards? I'm beginning to think that about Ibrahimovic right now. He's toying with the Arsenal defence, and Giroud just was turned there totally and utterly effortlessly. Then an outside of the right football, perfectly into the path of the forward running on there. I mentioned at the start of this game, he loves the game and expects the game to be played through him. I understand why.
What an introduction for Giroud. Now, Van Bommel hasn't ventured really very far forward tonight. That's not his job. Van Bommel's ball to Emmanuelson, nicely cushioned pass to Ibrahimovic, who's really got a swagger about him as well. Now, ball played in again, and that was almost a third on half-time. It was Antonini, the fullback, who stole forward. Szczesny came out and collides with him. Antonini still down inside the penalty area holding his head. But Arsenal once more absolutely sliced to pieces at the back, and almost a third on half-time. I think the referee feels that Antonini just may need some attention, especially if he's got a bang on the head.
No, I think it's his knee. I think he got a bad one there. It was very, very brave to go in the tackle, but Szczesny's coming out there and takes him out on the knee. And
you got it right.
Very, very sore one, that. And it's one of those ones that, because of the pace he was going at, it could almost be a break. But I suspect he'll be okay there. Brave getting onto it, but once again, no surprises. Who plays the genius ball through? Ibrahimovic. Once again, I actually think he's not scored a goal, but other than that, he's
got a yellow card for Antonini. Why would that be? Did he think that he'd follow through on the goalkeeper or something? But he's got a yellow card, Pat.
I've not noticed the referee this game because he's not been important in this game. But that's stupid. That's just totally and utterly ridiculous. He has to go for that ball. It was an absolute 50-50 ball. He must go for that. If he doesn't go for that, the manager will tear strips off him at half-time.
It isn't just about we're talking about the Arsenal back four, but it's also the amount of lack of protection they've been getting as well from the people in front of them, as the referee blows for half-time at the end of a deeply distressing first half for Arsenal, really, and a very satisfying one for the home side here, AC Milan. They came out and just took charge of the game. Kevin Prince Boateng smashed them into a 15-minute lead, and then the still protesting Milan players down there to the referee. You never think they were leading 2-0. And then the second goal was scored by Robinho. The creator was Ibrahimovic, who ran a long way after being given onside. He's still talking to the referee, Ibrahimovic. Something is not pleasing.
It's clearly that yellow card. It's nonsense. It's completely honestly stupid. And Ibrahimovic feels bad anyway because he played the beautiful ball through. That he felt bad that his friend got injured because it was maybe a quarter of a yard too long. But he shouldn't be complaining just now. He's up for it. He's buzzing. He's playing absolutely brilliantly just now. And this team look unstoppable. Arsenal have to do something. If they finish this game 2-0, I think they'll be happy.
So there you are. The goals have been scored by a man who used to play for Spurs and Portsmouth, and a man who used to play for Manchester City. 2-0.
Well, Pat, I don't know where you start. Arsenal are shambles. They're all over the place, and it's easy to say the defence aren't doing this and the defence aren't doing that, but they're getting no protection. There's no leadership out there, is there? There's a bit of a lack of a desire to dig deep from Arsenal as well. We've got to call it as it is.
I have to say, I think they're trying hard. I think they're working quite hard. I just think they're not good enough tonight. I think the team they're playing against them, man-to-man, man-for-man, all the way through it, are playing far better than them tonight. Particularly up front. I mentioned to you before that I was here for the Milan game last Wednesday night against Juve. And just now and again you realise that big players decide when they want to play big games. And Ibrahimovic was bordering on anonymous last week. He's been absolutely fabulous this week. Robinho was walking about with his little lost boy look last week. This week, zipping about, looking fantastic. And all the way through it, these guys know when they need to turn it on. They've turned it on tonight. Having said that, I think there have been a lot of poor displays. Arsenal haven't played out well from the back at all. And when you do that, you draw the teams onto you. And in midfield, they've lost out. Rosicki's, not really a great part of the game. They're almost playing with 10 men because once again, Theo Walcott's having one of those days.
So what does Arsene Wenger do at half-time? Because at the moment they're going out of the Champions League.
What do you do at half-time? Well, he wants to make changes, but I'm thinking he probably wants to make about 6. He can only make a couple more. He's made one already, which is enforced. I'm immediately looking at his bench and thinking, well, what can you do there? Well, if you're getting torn to shreds, do you want to bring Arshavin on? Who may not work as hard even as Rosicki's working. Rosicki's working, he's just not having any impact going forward. So you're going to bring him on. That actually might weaken you. You're going to bring Thierry Henry on. Well, he's not going to have the legs either. Oxlade-Chamberlain is a stick-on. He's got to come on at some point. But perm anyone from 3 who can replace at the moment.
It's been a very, very sobering first half for Arsenal, who frankly are lucky to be only 2-0 down here in the San Siro at half-time. It's 9:38 local time, 8:38 back home, and let's go to the news with Faye Ruskell.
Online at bbc.co.uk/5live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The unemployment rate is at a 16-year high after the number of jobless went up by 48,000 in the last quarter of 2011. Women made up two-thirds of that increase, and there was a new record in the number of people working part-time who want full-time jobs. Here's the former Conservative Chancellor, Lord Lawson.
Employment, the numbers of people in work is rising, but unfortunately what is also happening at the same time is that the total workforce is rising even faster, and therefore the number of people out of work is also rising. But this is inevitable. The economy was in a terrible mess before this government came in.
A 26-year-old woman has been charged with the murder of a teenage girl in a park in Doncaster. 13-year-old Casey Leanne Kearney died from stab wounds in hospital last night. The head of the Eurogroup says he expects a decision on a second Greek bailout to be taken on Monday. Jean-Claude Juncker was speaking after Eurozone finance ministers discussed imposing further conditions on Greece before it received another €130 billion. Mark Lowen reports from Athens.
The Greek president, he waded into the debate and he said, I cannot accept Wolfgang Schäuble, that's the German finance minister, insulting my country. Who is Mr. Schäuble to insult my country? Who are the Dutch? Who are the Finns? That is because there's a lot of rhetoric from Northern Europe putting pressure on Greece. The German finance minister said that Greece cannot become a bottomless pit.
The Honduran president has suspended the country's top prison officials after more than 300 inmates were killed in a prison fire. An investigation's underway to try to establish whether the blaze was caused by rioting or an electrical fault. The French president, Nicolas Sarkozy, has confirmed he'll stand for re-election in April. The announcement comes as France's economy showed unexpected growth in the last quarter. Opinion polls say he trails the socialist candidate, François Hollande. Iran has handed a letter to the European Union saying it's ready to resume talks over its nuclear programme. Tehran today unveiled new advances in its technology, including using domestically made fuel in a reactor for the first time.
And the sport tonight, England beat Pakistan by 20 runs in the second one-day in Abu Dhabi to go 2-0 up in the four-match series. Alistair Cook became the first England captain to score successive centuries in one-dayers. He top-scored with 102 as England finished 250 for 4 before bowling Pakistan out for 230. Steve Finn took 4 wickets. Here is captain Alistair Cook.
Back-to-back hundreds are rare things, so it's been a good couple of days in Abu Dhabi for me.
Well, you're the first England captain to have done it.
I know, it's very strange that some of the other England captains haven't done that, but it's been a really good day, and I thought the way we fielded, especially, Finney bowled an outstanding spell, and I just remember a couple of amazing diving stops on Morgs and Bairstow as well, and that kept the pressure on, and it was a really good team performance.
Well, you said it was a good team performance the other day, but really two players stood out, yourself and Steve Finn, and they're head and shoulders above everybody else. But you look around the team today, runs, catches, wickets, fielding. I mean, it really was. It's hard to fault anybody.
No, a really good team performance, as you said, and we got off to a good start with Kev, again, getting to 50 again. It's only a matter of time before he goes on and gets a dominating big score. Again, I thought the way Ravi played, again, he got a 50 of, almost a runner ball, which is hard on that wicket. And so we built ourselves a total. If we'd been really, really hard on ourselves, we probably would have liked it to have been 260, 270. But as both sides found, hitting that soft ball was tough.
How is Kevin? He's not got many runs out here.
Yeah, it's but I thought again today and the other 2 days ago, he shaped up really well. And at the top of the order of partnership, we know how crucial the partnership. And some days I'll get off to a fly, and the other days he will. So and he will go on and get 100. He's a world-class player.
Elsewhere in football today, Roberto Mancini's hit back at Carlos Tevez after the Argentine striker accused Mancini of treating him like a dog. The Manchester City manager says he totally disagrees with Tevez's comments. I've never treated him badly, said Mancini. It's the opposite. I treated him too well. Rangers administrators Duff and Phelps have told supporters in a statement they can be reassured that Rangers will continue as a football club, and they hope the club will come out of administration as soon as possible. Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson, a former Rangers player of course, admits it's sad for a great club.
I'm not surprised what happened to Rangers. I think that was on the cards for quite a while since Milan took over. I think there was always rumours and whatever. And that's a tragedy because that's a great football club. That is one of the best football clubs you could ever think about. And I think that I don't know what's going to happen there. But the rest, as far as the rest of Europe is concerned, I think the top clubs have the ability to manage their affairs the right way. I think that most clubs, you get the odd one here and there that run into trouble, like Portsmouth, and it's happened, of course. But in the main, you're talking about a very, very small percentage, and therefore it's not something we should panic about, but just be disappointing the ones who do fall aside.
Ferguson says Patrice Evra won't feature in the Europa League match at Ajax tomorrow because it's been an emotional week for him. And one line from Rugby Union, Harlequins flanker Chris Robshaw will captain England for the rest of the Six Nations.
The A1 archway at Highgate in London is shut in both directions. That's between Southwood Lane and Jackson's Lane at Highgate Station. An accident is blocking the road there and traffic is at a standstill. The A31 Ringwood Road northeast of Bournemouth has been shut in both directions. 4 cars were involved in an accident. The road is closed completely between the B3081 and Salisbury Road, which is the Fording Bridge turn-off. It is expected to remain closed for some considerable time. Faye Rusco, 5 Live Travel.
It's nearly 20 years since the world woke up to the full horror of the war in Bosnia.
In 1992, I was the first British United Nations commander that went into Bosnia.
Friday from 10, MP and former British Army Commander Colonel Bob Stewart returns to Bosnia.
We saw some horrific sights, and I want to see what has happened to those people that were left behind.
I'm a living witness. I saw everything.
Stephen Nolan. Then at 11, I'll be taking your calls and talking to some of the survivors.
Every day I got more angry. We didn't get air support. We were fooled.
Bosnia, the forgotten victims. Friday night from 10 on 5 Live.
5 Live Sport live from the San Siro tonight. AC Milan 2, Arsenal 0 at half-time, and AC Milan have been well worth that lead. Arsenal have been extremely poor. Let's get more on the news today that Lee Clark has been sacked as manager of Huddersfield Town. Mark Clement, our Football League man, joins me now. Clem, on the surface this seems a bit odd. What's going on?
Well, I think it's just down to a very demanding chairman who doesn't want to accept a playoff place again. I mean, he was bitterly disappointed to have missed out in the playoffs the last couple of years, Pugac. And, he has got his sights firmly on an automatic promotion place. And, I'm looking at Lee Clark's record here. And obviously, we all know about the 43 regular league matches, broken a football earlier on this season, but get this, 3 defeats in 55 regular league games. I mean, it's an astonishing record, isn't it? Add to that, polishing up Anthony Pilkington, who he bought for next to now, sold off to Norwich. Lee Peltier went to Leicester. We know when Jordan Rhodes eventually goes, he's going to go for mega bucks. I mean, Lee Clark, I think, is entitled to feel he's had a very hard time there. Against that, I suppose you'd say 13 draws this season. Charlton, the leaders, have got 7, Sheffield United 5, so that's where the points have clearly been dropped. I just wonder, Mark, whether this might come down to the wage cap that's coming into League One next season. Such is the pressure to get out of that division this time around. From next season, clubs will only be allowed to spend 65% of their turnover on player wages, and clearly that's going to have a major impact. But I also just think it's another case of people that do very well in business, and Dean Hoyle's, I think, sold his greeting card company out for £350 million, used to doing well, used to getting his own way, used to being the king of the castle. Well, there's only 3 prizes in League One this season, the 2 automatic promotion places and the playoff place, and there's other similar characters in the division who covet that price every bit as much.
Yeah. OK, Clem, just briefly, who's in the frame, do you think, for the Huddersfield job?
I think it's very early. I think they're going to obviously leave it with Mark Lillis in the short term. I would have thought people like Simon Grayson must be high on the radar with 2 promotions already, one with Blackpool, one with Leeds from that division.
Clem, thank you very much indeed. Lee Clark losing his job at Huddersfield today. Pat Nevin, the boys back in the studio in Salford have seen the second goal, and they think that Ibrahimovic is just about onside. It's pretty tight.
Well, I've watched it a couple of times here. I've got a monitor right in front of me.
And what do you think?
And I would say his backside is offside.
Okay.
It's that tight.
How big is his backside? It's not too big, is it?
Well, it was actually the first phase of play. The ball was played through. He ran from an offside position, and when the ball was played, he was arcing his run, which a good centre forward should do. And so he does perfectly the thing he should do. It's whether he timed it perfectly right. So it was tight one way or the other. It's not something you could complain too much about because it is millimetres either way. It goes down the left-hand side, and when it crosses it in, it's a pass back. Obviously Robinho isn't. A cut back. Obviously Robinho isn't offside, and it's a very good goal.
Giroux's out there warming up in the centre circle just before half-time. He got too tight to Ibrahimovic, who just rolled him, didn't he? Henry's out there as well. I don't know whether Henry's going to come on. He might do. I'm just thinking, Giroux's thinking, well, if I get too tight to him, he rolls me. If I don't get tight enough to him, he's going to bash me off the ball because he's in the mood. In a way, he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, Giroux.
Absolutely, and he's having one of those moments, one of those halves at the moment, Ibrahimovic. And I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, what do you do?
He's coming on, isn't he? I think he's getting stripped. Do you think he's coming on?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, you wouldn't get that.
No,
that much gear off. I mean, he's got his top off. He's putting his other top on. Yeah, he's definitely coming on in the game just now. It's just interesting to see who comes off. Certainly, Rosicki's out there, so I can't see Walcott at the moment. It may well be that Walcott's disappearing.
Well, it's a long way back for Arsenal from here. 2-0 down. And here's Alan Green to start the commentary in the second half. AC Milan haven't appeared yet, Alan, but to give you a good chance to go through a few of the changes that Arsenal have had to make already.
Arsenal haven't appeared yet. They're fortunate, Mark, that they're not 4-0 down at half-time. There were 2 glorious chances in stoppage time at the end of the first half for Boateng and Antonini. Neither taken. So it looks as if it's a second substitution for Arsene Wenger. He had to replace Koscielny, who's off injured. Giroud came on, and now Henry has replaced Theo Walcott, who was totally anonymous. The revised Arsenal lineup: goalkeeper Chesney, who was partly at fault for the first goal. A defence now of Sagna, Vermaelen, Giroud and Gibbs. Then we've got Son, Arteta and Ramsey, and finally Van Persie, Rosicki and Henry. We'll see how they shape up.
I'm intrigued to see him because the temptation is obviously expect Van Persie's on, you expect Thierry Henry to play a little bit further left, but there might be a thought of playing the two of them up and going for a good old-fashioned 4-4-2. We shall see.
I'm still disappointed Oxlade-Chamberlain hasn't figured.
Yeah, I have to say it is a slight surprise with Thierry Henry, but if you're 2-0 down, and I think we all feel exactly the same, it's 2 going on 4, and they could go out of this competition tonight if they don't do something against it. So you've got to try something, and this is trying something special. Thierry Henry.
They forgot to turn the music off. The game's underway, folks. You can turn the music off now. Right, no further alterations for AC Milan. They too had to make a change in the first half. Seedorf injured, Emmanuelson came on. Sorry, Pat.
Do you know what they're going to do? They're actually going to play Van Persie off Thierry Henry and put Thierry Henry up front.
Well, there are many people think that is actually Van Persie. I know he's got 28 goals this season, which is astounding, but many people prefer to see Van Persie playing off a striker.
I think he does as well. He wears a number 10 in his back for a reason. He thinks he is a number 10. He can play off a striker and can play in that hole. So interesting to see the effect.
Here is Van Persie, a partial mistake by the defender. He tried to feed it through to Henry, but overhit the pass, and it's through to goalkeeper Abbiati. The rest of the AC Milan lineup, the defence: Abate, Mexes, Thiago Silva, who's been wonderful, and Antonini. Then we've got Boateng, Van Bommel, and Nocerino, Emmanuelson, Robinho, and the outstanding Ibrahimovic. Absolutely outstanding.
I mean, I'm trying to get the pick of those Milan players. And it is Ibrahimovic at the moment, but is there a Milan player who isn't playing well at the moment? I think every one of them is playing well, except their goalkeeper, who's had nothing to do anyway.
No, he's got a scar out and a cap on to be sensible, because it is a cold evening in Milan, and it's a bitterly cold evening. as far as Arsenal are concerned. The attendance, by the way, 64,462. Arsenal on the attack, but the ball didn't reach Van Persie from Rosicky. Intercepted by AC Milan. Here's Van Bommel. Van Bommel plays it to Emmanuelson. And on now to Robinho, scorer of the second goal. And it was a terrific header from the Brazilian. From an impudent cross by Ibrahimovic. Robinho coming forward, but he had two defenders with him. And eventually he lost out. And it's clattered clear towards the halfway line. Collected, of course, by AC Milan again. What a delicate touch that was by Ibrahimovic to Robinho. Ibrahimovic again into the penalty. Slides the ball in towards Boateng. Cleared by Arsenal. If they concede a third goal now, you dread to think what would happen to them.
I'm delighted you spotted that touch there, Ibrahimovic, because I don't think many people in this stadium did notice it. It was genius. He killed it. It was lashed at him. It was almost like a shot at him, but he killed it just enough to make it into a pass to his teammate. He's at the top of his game right now.
I take all my criticism back. It is a wondrous display.
Until the next time when he doesn't try.
No, slaughter him. Anyway, I did say I was very worried the way he'd started the game, and unfortunately he continued that way. Here's Arteta, who's been disappointing like most of the Arsenal players, trying to find the substitute Thierry Henry, and does find Henry left of the Milan penalty area. The pass back to Gibbs put the full-back under pressure. He did well to find Song. Here's Arteta again. Arteta just over the halfway line. Gibbs to his left. Van Persie available, so too is Henry. But the pass goes to Song instead. On the halfway line, left of the centre circle. Into the 4th minute of the second half. AC Milan 2, Arsenal 0. Rosicky running himself into trouble, gives the ball away to Robinho, onto Ibrahimovic just over the halfway line. Ahead of the centre circle now, Ibrahimovic. And look, they just can't get the ball off him. He's having a fantastic game. Ibrahimovic to Robinho. Back to Ibrahimovic, now only a yard outside the penalty. To Robinho, Robinho's shot, 3-0. Arsenal are finished. Glorious shot from Robinho, his second goal of the evening. 4 minutes into the second half. AC Milan 3, Arsenal 0.
Guess that man again in the build-up, Ibrahimovic. As you said, they can't get the ball off him, they can't get near him. His control was absolutely fabulous in the build-up to that move. He actually looks like a professional footballer playing against guys from about 3 divisions below. He's that far ahead of who he's playing against just now. He's playing that well. And the thing I have to say, even when he made that final pass, which I don't think he meant, I think it was a mistake, he timed it wrong. It's actually falling perfect for him. Great goal there by Robinho. And you fear slightly for Arsenal just now. You don't think 8-2, but you fear for them at the moment.
Well, you know, you can see it ending up 5 or 6, the way it's going.
Easily just now, because I can't see that Milan playing the way they're playing just now. They're enjoying themselves too much. They've got too many players out there who are loving showing off just now. They're not going to stop. They're not going to take their feet off the gas.
Well, the Milanese fans are bouncing up and down in the stadium, and actually our commentary position is actually reverberating to those bounces. Great atmosphere inside the Giuseppe Meazza Stadium. AC Milan lead Arsenal by 3-0. Chesney plays the ball away to the far side. Kept in play by Sanya. And now it's guided by Ramsey towards the left side and Gibbs. I'm sure Gibbs wouldn't have played if there'd been any other option, but there wasn't. Van Persie comes forward, then he ran into the defender, and it's taken away by Nocerino. Nocerino then hits it off Gibbs, and it's out for a throw-in to AC Milan. I've just been given that again. This is the attendance,
and they keep on
and they keep putting it in front of me instead. Anyway, it is 64,000 plus. The scoreline's awful. Here's Rosicky. Rosicky now to Ramsey, shrugged off the ball there by Emmanuelson, and forward now to Boateng, almost on the centre spot to Ibrahimovic. I think if he just spotted the run of Robinho, it would have been played through to him. Instead it went back to Van Bommel. Van Bommel plays it to Antonini on the far side. Great ball forward to Emmanuelson. His first touch wasn't great, a yard outside the Arsenal penalty area. Unfortunately for Arsenal, they make capital of it and take it away.
It's scary, folks. It's very scary indeed. Every time that they break now, Milan, because Arsenal give them a due, are trying their best to attack, but when Milan break on them, they look absolutely lethal.
Arteta to Rosicky, and Rosicky waves Gibbs forward, but Rosicki's moving infield away from the fullback. Now he plays it to Gibbs. Gibbs cross, telegraph, hits the body of Abate and rebounds out of play for a throw into Arsenal.
I tell you what, we've had some fairy tales over the last little while with Thierry Henry. This would be some fairy tale if he changed this, and even if it meant getting one goal back, it would make one hell of a difference for the game.
Indeed,
back
it would.
England.
Goodness gracious, that pass from Vermaelen wasn't clever. It put Jura into terrible trouble, but Jura somehow alluded to AC Milan players. Finds Vermaelen again. The ball played upfield. Henry's cushioned header only finds Van Bommel. On it goes from Nocerino over the halfway line. Another touch from Ibrahimovic to Boateng down the right, shrugged aside by Song. The assistant saw, the referee was happy with the challenge too. The Milan fans weren't happy that they didn't get a free kick. 7.5 minutes played in the second period. Arsenal conceded a third goal in that time. To say their backs are against the wall now is just, well, it's nothing to what they're facing. Van Persie makes a break into the penalty. Rosicky tries to pick him out. That was great work by Thiago Silva, getting back to the Brazilian central defender. Van Persie put his hand on his face.
Oh, and get up.
I'm sure it's a soft injury, if it's an injury at all, for Thiago Silva, but he is a great player.
No, he's been absolutely brilliant, but just now and again, it doesn't need that. This game's had none of that. You know, this game has been played with a really good attitude. I mean, the referee's generally been extremely good. I think
apart from the booking for Antonini, which was ridiculous.
Yellow card, I think the one mistake. I promise you, Alan, he's just gone down there, he's walking about, he's feeling his head. I'm going to do to you right now what was done to Thiago Silva. Have you survived it?
Get me an ambulance.
Dreadful.
I know. But Arsenal have been dreadful. As good as AC Milan have been, I haven't seen Arsenal play as badly as for quite some time.
And there's always a bit of me that looks at the opponents and say, well, they're actually doing really well. There's not a player who's playing badly for them, but they do look disjointed at the moment, Arsenal. They're not playing it well out of defence, they're not holding the ball, and that's what Arsenal are all about, you know, passing it well. And I almost want to make an excuse and say, you know, the pitch is a bit hard, it's a bit bobbly. Doesn't seem to be affecting Milan too much.
No. Giroud, the substitute defender, plays it back to Chesney, and Chesney clears it upfield over the halfway line on the far side of the field. Ramsey infield to Arteta, to Van Persie. Henry's furthest forward for Arsenal. Pass goes to Song instead. Now Gibbs about 6-7 yards outside the Milan penalty area. Plays it back to Song. Arteta available, but Song's looking further forward towards Henry. I thought Henry might have been offside, but it didn't matter because it was intercepted by Mexes, who hasn't been a weak link tonight for the Italian side. Boateng, scorer of the first goal, and then the two follow-up goals from Mourinho.
How much better do they look in possession, even at the back, Milan? And again, I repeat again, it's what Arsenal are known for, being comfortable and good in possession, particularly from the back. They've not looked at tonight. I'll tell you what Milan have.
Look at Batty ran forward there, just ran away from Rosicky, and now it's on the far side of the field. Milan into the Arsenal half, back to Antonini, the left back. Antonini finds Emmanuelson. Emmanuelson, great crossfield ball. Boateng into the penalty. Oh, Boateng miscontrolled it. It's as well that he did, because Gibbs had slipped. The ball's still in the danger area as far as Arsenal are concerned. Now Gibbs can manage to clear it through. Rosicky almost putting Arteta in trouble, but Arteta does well, running away towards the halfway line. Falls over. Nothing wrong.
4 men on him though. With 4 men, that shows you the work rate as well from Milan.
Mexes for the Italian league leaders. Back it goes via Nocerino. I've been really impressed with him tonight, and I haven't seen him before. Now on the far side of the field, Antonini flicks it infield towards Emmanuelson. Jura let that ball bounce, and it's as well he was helped out by Vermaelen with a header back to his goalkeeper. It's frightening. AC Milan 3, Arsenal 0. You're listening to 5 Live's coverage of the resumption of the Champions League, and it's not pretty viewing from an English perspective.
Yeah, just in a little close-up of Arsene Wenger there, and you'd expect him to be out shouting at his team, just sitting there back in the dugout with a depressed look in his face.
Sagna on the far side of the field, crosses deep, looking for Henry. Clever little barge by Abate. He knew what he was doing, stopped the Frenchman proceeding and the ball's caught by Aviati.
I think he's looked very good. I mean, the players that I hadn't seen a great deal of before, and Abate was one of them. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. And Siro tonight, another player who I didn't know a great deal about. Knew most of the rest of the players, but those two have impressed me coming in tonight.
They look a good side, AC Milan. But on the evidence of tonight, they look a good side, the Italian champions. The ball is back with their goalkeeper Aviati. We played 12 worrying minutes in the second period. Arsenal 3-0 down. Robinho must have used his hand to control that ball. He did, well spotted by the Hungarian referee, who was in charge when Barcelona beat Manchester United in last season's finale at Wembley. It's with Song. Back now to Vermaelen. And Vermaelen to Giroud. I mean, heaven only knows what state the Arsenal defence will be for their cup tie away to Sunderland at the weekend. They daren't play like this, or they go out of the FA Cup. And at the moment, they're heading out of the Champions League, albeit with the second leg still to play.
He's only done it again there, Ibrahimovic. He's chasing back there, he's harrowing, he's fighting. Honestly, I'm sure there's two of them. There's one guy that can't do that, and there's one guy who can.
Good work by Gibbs, skipping away from Abate, and then Abate's speed got him back in there. He made the challenge at the concession of a corner.
Well done, Gibbs. That's what Arsenal need to see now and again. Someone who's willing to make the effort to get forward there, and with a little bit of pace. I mean, that's another thing apart from the passing. Pace-wise, all over the field, Milan have been quicker.
Let's have a break, Arsenal. Corner. Taken by Arteta. Arteta plays in, not the most convincing goalkeeping by Aviati, but he managed to punch it clear, and here AC Milan on the counter-attack. Emmanuelson running away from Rosicky. Gets the ball to Robinho. Is the player onside? Edge of the penalty area, shoots wide of goal.
I'm sure that's Antonini up there. What's he doing up there?
I don't know. I had to look 3 times. I think where it's not. I knew it wasn't Ibrahimovic. I wasn't sure who it was.
It's one of those odd things. You think that's Antonini, but he's no right to be the furthest player forward, breaking out. He's the left back.
From a corner.
He was actually on the post. We're talking about the pace, and I'm saying about the pace of Abate at right back, but that's your left back there. He's hammered it up the field. He should have actually finished at left back. I'll grant you that. But there was just a moment there where Arsenal were 1-on-3. You know, they're very lucky it's still only 3-0.
It's frightening. Rosicky plays it in the general direction of Henry, easily headed clear by Thiago Silva. Mexis picks it up. He rushes into the Arsenal half. They look as if they're showing off at the moment, AC Milan. They just know they're so superior on the night.
Yeah, I mean, the confidence is building all the way through the team. And the big thing you do know about it, sometimes you play in these games and you think, well, we've got a lead, let's not lose, or, you know, let's be fearful of losing a goal. You know, a goal away from home would be a nightmare. You know, it would be great for Arsenal, it would be terrible for Milan. They don't seem to have that fear for me tonight. They're a team that are really only concerned about getting the other goal and making it 4. It's a very unusual thing at this level, because most, you know, Italian teams that we know historically, 2 or 3-0 up. Well, let's be calm now. No, they want the 4th.
And you think of the chances that AC Milan have had, as well as the goals. It could be 5 or 6 already. So Arsenal should be a little bit thankful it's only 3-0. Nocerino on the halfway line, right at the centre circle, on to Abate. Abate now to Boateng. The return pass wasn't great. It's set out of play by Gibbs for a throw into AC Milan. The early moments of the game, neither fullback for the Italian champions broke forward from a defensive position. Now they're rampaging forward.
It's as if they've just been waiting there, desperate to get forward, and the manager's giving them the nod, like, let's go for it, lads. And they have got pace to burn.
Here's Antonini in the far side of the field. He's already midway inside the Arsenal half to Ibrahimovic back into Van Bommel. Van Bommel now about 30 yards from goal. Just chips it to Boateng to Abate. They've got everybody bar their goalkeeper inside the Arsenal half. Great break by Robinho into the penalty area, away from Gibbs. Shoots, blocked by the fullback. I think blocked by his ankle inadvertently, and it's cleared somehow by Arsenal out of play.
What a lovely soft shoe shuffle there from Robinho. It dummied on the near side there, and it's one of those ones where they allowed the defender to get close to him. It's a step over and then rolls the defender. That's brilliant play there, and does exactly the right thing, is gets in front of Gibbs there, inviting him to tackle. Well done, Gibbs didn't tackle there.
I was worried that he was going to concede a penalty.
That's exactly what he wanted. That's why Robinho ran in front of him, but Well done, Gibbs. That was good, intelligent defending.
Vermaelen wasn't sure where his header was going. Arteta almost messed up as well, but has the fortunate bounce of the ball, plays it back to Chesney, and Chesney with a left-footed clearance up to the halfway line in the direction of Mexes. But it's won by Rosicky. Important win by Rosicky. Henry's there as well. Henry almost ran into Rosicky, but Rosicky loses the ball.
Got to be a yellow card. Got to be a yellow card in Mexes. It must be.
It is a yellow card. And it's an Arsenal free kick.
I think he only pulled back Rosicky about 4 times there, and well, some people would call it a good foul because that's one of the few times that Arsenal have broken. It looks as if they might have a bit of an overlap there, and Mexes caught on the wrong side there. There is always a mistake in him, but that time they weren't punished for it.
Three fouls in the second and a half by the same player and the same opponent doesn't justify a yellow card. You've got to do it 4 times.
Yeah, right. He's dragging him back to the shot. I think he wants his shot.
Right. Nearly 18 minutes gone in the second half, and Arsenal have a free kick. It's too far out, surely, for a shot at goal.
It's one of those ones where, I mean, Van Persie looks as if he's going to take it, yeah, and you just really want him in there. You know, if it's not going to be a shot on goal, you'd rather he was in there.
It is a shot on goal. It was after the free kick was tapped to one side, but it hit a defender, looked in the air, and is straight through to Abiati.
Yeah, it's really saddening that, because okay, it was 30 odd yards out, but you know, you want to get it on target, a shot on target, and a lot of the time I don't really know why Robin Van Persie does that. You know, he stands out there and clips a ball in that anyone could clip in. You know, he's good delivery, but other players have got good delivery. Unless it's actually a shot on target, you know, then Van Persie should take it.
Ridiculously, the second leg of this last 16 tie isn't for another 3 weeks because we've got an international break and all sorts of silly things happening. But unless there's a dramatic change in the form of these two sides, you know, at 3-0, AC Milan are out of sight. Though that wasn't clever from Thiago Silva. It was a poor back pass wide of his goalkeeper, and it's behind for a corner.
Yeah, it was just a little moment here. I mean, it's nothing that, you know, Arsenal get pressured a little bit now. It's nothing to get too excited about yet, but you know, a mistake, you know, by Mexes, and then moments later Thiago Silva makes a mistake as well. So maybe there's little moments.
The Arsenal fans behind the goal to our left in prayer at the moment as the team prepare to take this corner. Van Persie, left-footed, in swinging corner. There's an opportunity. Oh goodness, it was a poor header from Ramsey, high and wide.
Ramsey actually got up to it, and he was actually on his way down.
Yeah,
by
he was too early for the jump.
And once again, it was a decent ball in there again by Van Persie on the far side there, but maybe just a little bit of an inkling of an opening there for Arsenal, but it's not much, it has to be said.
No. 19 minutes played in the second half. AC Milan 3, Arsenal 0. Don't forget that next Tuesday night here on 5 Live we'll be bringing you Napoli against Chelsea. Aviati with a goal kick for the Italians, hitting it towards the halfway line where it's headed back by Rosicky, but he doesn't find a yellow shirt, and Thiago Silva plays it away to the excellent Antonini on the far side. Antonini, well, he was showing off there, and he concedes a throw-in to Ramsey. Ramsey wanted to take it much quicker than he could do, but now he finds Song, and Song forward to Henry. Henry's back heel to Van Persie. Great shot, good save.
Absolutely brilliant play there by Thierry Henry. Flicked it off the outside of his boot there, goes over the defender there, and Robin Van Persie takes it first time. There's just been that little cup 2 or 3 minutes now where I think Milan have come off the pace, and whether they can keep that pace that they've kept up for the entirety of the game. It's just over an hour gone, and they have calmed it down a little bit, and here's another change for Arsenal.
What we'd give for an Arsenal goal. Now, who came off there? Is that Gibbs?
Can't see him to the back.
It was Oxlade-Chamberlain who's come on. Arsenal corner, played in, Abiati catches well. It was Gibbs. So, how are they going to line up here in formation? Where's Arteta going?
Is he going to go to left back? I'd be surprised.
Well, so it seems, but at least we get our wish back.
I actually think they're going to go 3 at the back.
That's a bit worrying against Ibrahimovic and Robinho on their form tonight. Here's Ibrahimovic again. Brilliant chest control. Song was pulling him back and concedes a free kick. Well, he took the ball on his chest, spun on an ankle, and Song was beaten.
He's almost unplayable, really is. Fantastic.
Free kick taken. Here's Ibrahimovic whatever his name is, this cold night. Ibrahimovic, back now to Nocerino. Nocerino crowded out there by the Arsenal challenge. Rosicky did well, found Van Persie. Sanya's free down the far side of the field. Van Persie's looking narrower, trying to play it in towards Ramsey. Took a deflection off Nocerino, and it's out of play, and it's going to be an AC Milan throw-in.
It's certainly not getting carried away yet, but I think the Arsenal players are looking at each other and saying, well, wait a minute, the pace has come out of Milan here. They've lifted up a little gear, Arsenal, at the moment, and obviously Oxlade-Chamberlain's going to give them a little bit of a lift as well. But it's imperative that they don't get carried away and leave themselves too short at the back.
Considering he's had so little to do, that was an excellent save by Abiati.
That's a brilliant, yeah. I mean, it's certainly the best chance that Arsenal have had in the game so far, and that will have lifted them. And players like Van Persie and Thierry Henry know that, it is one goal and suddenly the whole face of the tie has changed. Still underdogs though.
Yeah, 3/4 of the game gone. Milan domination. Give us an Arsenal goal, Mike Ingham.
Well, to have any chance at all of reaching the quarter-finals, they have to get an away goal to take back to the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal, minimum requirement. I mean, 2 preferably. The ball with Ramsey inside the centre circle. Rosicki's had a more effective second half down this near side, but to concede within the first 5 minutes of the second half was a nightmare for Arsenal. And it was interesting looking at the replays that, crucially, Vermaelen slipped as well just before Rubinho planted the ball past Szczesny for his second of the game. So many Arsenal fans, I'm sure, watching tonight will be feeling perhaps chickens coming home to roost, maybe fearing that something like this was going to happen to the team, because they've obviously criticised Arsene Wenger for lack of real investment. Here comes Rubinho looking for a hat-trick. Giroud just managed to flick it away from him, and Sagna clears only as far as Nocerino inside the centre circle. Nocerino now going forward, and Arsenal having to get numbers back. Henry can't get it away from the bearded Nocerino. We're going to have Ambrosini, another of the veterans, coming into the Milan midfield in a moment. Long one now, looking to try and stretch Arsenal over on the far side, and Sanya's conceded a corner. It's a great pairing, this, Rubinho and Ibrahimovic, when they're on form, and they really have worked well together tonight. So Ambrosini about to come on.
It's a brave pairing as well, really, because the two players, when they don't fancy it, they seriously don't fancy it. Not surprised here that there has been a little bit of a change from Milan, because that pace has gone out of the game in the last 5 minutes or so, and I'm guessing that's
Boateng's coming
off just now.
Looking very tired, of course, because he's been out of the side for about a month, but I think he's made a huge difference for them this evening, especially in the first half. He scored the first goal, Arsenal finding it really hard to pick him up, just behind the front two. So Boateng, having done his job, makes way for Ambrosini, who will really just sit and provide numbers in midfield. Ambrosini, so experienced, of course, member of Carlo Ancelotti's team. Corner kick whipped in, little flick at the near post by Ibrahimovic, but it's wide. It's interesting, isn't it? Mark Pugac was saying before the game, I hadn't heard the quotes, but Ancelotti was very confident that AC Milan were going to win here this evening, because he felt that the Italian league this season had been better than the Premier League. Well, of course, Napoli put out Manchester City. They'll be hoping to put out Chelsea. At the moment, Milan are going to put out Arsenal, unless we're going to have a great recovery.
Yeah, they're some of the tails up just now. Just interested to see, bringing Ambrosini in. It would seem to me a slightly negative move. He's not going to be as positive, going quite as far forward as Kevin Prince Boateng. And I thought there was a possibility he would have brought on El Shaarawy, but I wonder what the manager's thinking. Just thinking that the rest of his team would accept now the 3-0.
Rosicky for Arsenal, near side the left. You're listening to 5 Live. It's Milan 3, Arsenal 0 in the Champions League. Arteta, Van Persie made a run, but he doesn't look for him. He plays it to Sagna. Oxlade-Chamberlain now getting his first touch on that right-hand side. 2 players immediately up against him. Has to give the ball back to Sagna. Good ball from Sagna into midfield for Arteta. Arteta couldn't go forward. Van Bommel was in his way. Now it's Vermaelen. Vermaelen, again, it's sideways from Arsenal. No, with people like Van Persie and Henry waiting on the edge of the penalty area. They're still playing too deep. Vermaelen once more. Milan really filling all the gaps. Now it's Aaron Ramsey of Arsenal. 3-0 down here in the Giuseppe Meazza. Rosicky for Henry on the edge of the penalty area. Van Persie's waiting. Ball is lifted in. Header away by Thiago Silva. And then Van Bommel completes the clearance, and here's the counter-attack on now. It's the excellent Ibrahimovic taking responsibility inside the centre circle, going away from Song, and then brought down by Song, who will get a yellow card.
There was no point there that Song was going to be able to make that chance. He got himself far too square on, and I would have been shocked if Ibrahimovic wouldn't have gone past him. He's passed him absolutely easily, but once again, you notice when the ball was played up to Ibrahimovic, one little shimmy, and suddenly he had 10 yards of space all around him. That's all it took.
I bet Manchester City fans tonight are watching on and listening in enviously, looking at Rubinho playing the way that he is tonight for AC Milan here. 3-0 up, 71 minutes gone in the game. Free kick to Milan following that foul by Song. Van Bommel to take it. Van Bommel's ball in towards Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic trying to control a very awkward ball in the penalty area, and Sagna clears to the far side of the field. Throw to Milan, Antonini to take it. Ambrosini gets his first touch. Ambrosini turns and tries to get the ball into the area. It's a dangerous one for Vermaelen, and it's not going to go out for him, and now it is eventually for a goal kick. Nocerino applauded Ambrosini's ball, and it's a goal kick to Arsenal, and we only have 18 minutes to go here, and they trail by 3-0 in the first leg of this last 16 tie in the Champions League. Song now finding Sagna over on the right-hand side. They need to get it away from that rutted area over on the far side, and that's a really poor ball by Giroud. Very lazy out of defence, and it's going to be Milan are claiming the throw, and the referee has given it to them as well, and it's been...
He's given a free kick.
He's given a free kick, has he? Right. And there was an argument going on between the Ramsey and the ref, and so the free kick will be taken for Milan over on the left-hand side, and there's more potential danger here for the Arsenal defenders. They just haven't been able to get hold of Ibrahimovic. Rubinho's been really cashing in as well on the space that Ibrahimovic has been giving him. Free kick to Milan. 3-0 they lead. Over on the far side, they just knock it into the centre circle when Mexis makes a bit of a mess of his volley, and Rosicky taps the ball back to Vermaelen, who looks for Henry on the halfway line, whose layoff is a bit short to Rosicky. Milan have it once more. Nocerino's early ball forward towards Rubinho. Sagna's back covering, and that's going to be an Arsenal goal kick.
You've got to say about Arsenal, I mean, they're 3-0 down here. There was a fear for a little period of time that it could go very pear-shaped, but Arsenal have got a team on the field now with so many attacking players. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Van Persie, Henry, Ramsey gets forward as well, so there's plenty of attacking players there, so there is a possibility if they can get the ball up the field in good positions, they could create something, and this time might not be beyond them. But I agree completely with yourself and Alan, they need a goal in this tie.
They have to, yeah, they have to, don't they? They really have to, because 3-0's no good at all, because they would also be vulnerable, of course, to away goals from Milan at the Emirates Stadium. You wouldn't bat against Milan scoring in North London, would you, really, in 3 weeks' time? 3-0 tonight. Arsenal must get at least one away goal. Arteta now, this time managing to hold off Rubinho, looking for Oxlade-Chamberlain, very ambitious ball down the right-hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain's got it, tight to the line. Antonini's up against him. Back also comes Emmanuelson. Oxlade-Chamberlain will do well to get this cross in, and he did get the ball in the area, but it's an easy header away by Thiago Silva. And then Antonini really dilly-dallied. Oh, but the flag is gone against Arsenal.
I think he's saying Oxlade-Chamberlain was actually offside when he came towards the ball there, which was quite harsh on the young lad there, but he's already done, I would suggest, more than Walcott did in the entirety of the time he was on the pitch. He's gone and taxed the player, and Ambrosini there on the far side, gone beyond him and asked him a question. Now, he didn't get a decent cross in there, but at least he's asked him a question and pushed him back.
Already Milan indulging a little bit of time wasting there too. It took a very long time, that clearance from Abbiati, and then he messed it up in the end. And can Arsenal find something here? But they're 3-0 down, and the ball is with Giroud, and the crowd once more jumping up and down, keeping themselves warm, making a huge din around this stadium as Arsenal try and press down the left-hand side. Just down below us, it's Rosicky to Vermaelen. Henry and Van Persie available. In goes the ball. Thiago Silva stretches, but it drops to Van Persie. Van Persie's shot, he didn't get hold of it though. He scuffed it in the end really, and it bobbled all the way through to the goalkeeper. It was a good position for him, he just couldn't get it down.
It's getting better. It's definitely getting better for Arsenal. They're not playing their very best yet, but there is definitely an understanding in good link-up play.
But now down the other end of the field, Rubinho flicks the ball onto Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic fires it towards Emmanuelson. Emmanuelson can't get it through to Rubinho because Sagna defended well, but now Rubinho's on the ball. Rubinho once more into Ibrahimovic. The cross will come in from Emmanuelson, and Vermaelen's conceded a corner. Has it gone out of play? No, it hasn't gone out of play. I thought it was going out. He's cleared it, but he's cleared it straight back to Milan once more. Not had a very happy night tonight, Vermaelen. Now it's Nocerino for Milan on the edge of the penalty area. Ball in is headed away by Giroud. Henry's back helping the defenders. Back again to Vermaelen, and Vermaelen slips again as he clears the ball downfield, and Thiago Silva very confidently heads it sideways to Antonini, and Milan hold once more with about 14 minutes to go. Milan 3, Arsenal 0 on 5 Live, and Milan looking useful again now inside the Arsenal half as Robinho finds the full-back Abate. Ambrosini's calling for it. In it goes to the back post. Ibrahimovic tried to head her down. He didn't really get hold of it though. But he's won himself a corner kick off Sanya. Corner to Milan, and Manny Olsen to take it.
But it's still a very intriguing game, isn't it? It's good to see. I mean, it's 3-0 here, but you actually have got two teams that are going out trying to score a goal. And that's the joy of the Champions League when we get to the knockout stage. This is an exciting cup tie situation you find yourself in.
Corner to Milan, 3-0. Whipped in from the left-hand side, and then a header from Robinho's off target. And a goal kick for Arsenal. We said all the way through the first half, even before Milan went in front, what an open start it was to the game. It was too open though, really, from Arsenal's point of view. And then Milan, always looking the better side, scored a couple in the first half. First of all from Boateng, and the second from Robinho. And then right at the start of the second half, Robinho helped himself to another. Ibrahimovic massively involved. Huge presence down there tonight for Milan as Rosicky loses the ball easily to Ambrosini, and Robinho sets off. He's got Ibrahimovic to the left. Ambrosini's made a darting run through the centre. He finds Ibrahimovic. Robinho wants the return ball from Ibrahimovic, who goes down under the challenge from Giroud and wins a penalty. Giroud has fouled Ibrahimovic in the penalty area, according to the Hungarian referee, and this really could be good night Arsenal now. It's going to be a penalty to Milan, who lead 3-0.
There doesn't seem to be too many complaints about that, but I have to say I think that was very soft indeed. And I think Giroud looks as if he's going to get a yellow card for it as well. But nice little dummy there from Ibrahimovic, and I think he's run into Giroud and just fallen over. I think that's very, very tough in the defender.
To be strictly objective and neutral, if you can be, for just a few seconds before Ibrahimovic takes this penalty, I mean, if any player deserved a goal tonight, it's Ibrahimovic.
Oh, no, absolutely. He's made two, he's created chances, he's played the perfect game for a centre-forward. He's been absolutely central to everything. His work rate has been tremendous, which is the thing that most people complain about him. And in the end, he's got a penalty kick. He's got a chance to actually finish it off.
Answered a lot of questions here tonight, Ibrahimovic, and now he could effectively put the game and maybe place in the quarter-finals beyond Arsenal. Milan lead 3-0. In a couple of seconds, it could be 4. Ibrahimovic stands. He's had a great night inspiring his side here tonight. Can Szczesny keep this one out? No, he can't. It's straight through him. Ibrahimovic raises his arms to the Milan fans behind the Arsenal goal. It's the 4th goal of the night. They've all come from the champions of Italy. It's Milan 4, Arsenal 0, and it looks impossible now for Arsene Wenger.
Tough one. I don't think it's going to be the fairy tale for Thierry Henry tonight, and I feel quite sorry for Arsenal. I think they've had the best little period in the game. They hadn't been controlling it, but they'd had the best little period in the game there, and Ibrahimovic bought the penalty, and he didn't really think he was going to miss it there after the game he's had tonight. And even though Szczesny moved early, he moved the right way, he dived towards the right corner, there was enough pace and power, and it hit the side net as it went in, and as you say, no one deserves a goal more than him tonight.
Looks like it could be all down to Chelsea then in the Champions League. And they, of course, play Napoli, who knocked out Manchester City effectively in that group stage. You know, Milan only won 2 of their group games. But here goes Ibrahimovic once more, but Vermaelen heads the ball away for Arsenal. They only won 2 of the group games against Plutzen and Bate here. But they have been head and shoulders ahead of Arsenal tonight. As a yellow card to Ambrosini puts him out of the return game. Do you know what? I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's actually bought himself that one, because 4-0 up, and if he's going to get suspended,
get it out of the way. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Ambrosini's out. He's not going to make a great deal of difference, I don't think, for the second leg. Fantastic scenes. I mean, they've been in the doldrums, really, by their own very high standards, AC Milan. They've seen Inter Milan, of course, become champions of Europe under Jose Mourinho, but this is their night. And the phone lines are open for Arsenal fans in particular, 0500 909 693. It's Mikel Arteta for Arsenal, looking to find Ramsey. Ramsey squirts one into Van Persie, takes the ball on his neck, really, and then goes down looking for a penalty in the area, not given by the referee. Milan clear. It's back inside the Arsenal half with Giroud. We've still got 10 minutes to go here. 4-0.
Well, that was a big shout for a penalty kick there by Robin Van Persie, but I often look to the reaction of the players, and there was no real complaint afterwards from Van Persie, so you suspect nothing in that, really.
course, Ibrahimovic is suspended from the Italian domestic league at the moment. He's got another 2 games suspension, so he's going to be really fresh for the game in 3 weeks' time, of course.
Do you want to give any more bad news to the Arsenal fans just now?
He was sent off in a game against... it's incredible to think now, Pat, you know, you're aware of this, that Milan had a really dodgy 3 or 4 weeks. They lost to Lazio. They only drew 0-0 here with Napoli. They were beaten in the Milan derby. And, of course, they also lost at home to Juventus in the Italian Cup semi-final. There's still the second leg to come of that one, but they really had a rocky time. But tonight they've really risen to the occasion. This Champions League last 16, they are 4-0 up and absolutely cruising and in the driving seat. And Arsenal have been exposed here. They've been very brittle, very vulnerable. That was always going to be the difficulty for them defensively, because they've been so leaky. Remember, a long ball forward now looks for Henry, and he may just get this Thierry Henry. He's just been forced to take the ball a little wide and has to play the ball back to Thomas Rosicky. Rosicky now into midfield. Arsenal with Arteta across the field to Sanya. 4-0 they trail on 5 Live. Again, they're over-elaborating with the passing, though. The ball is just being worked in a position down the right-hand side. Now Oxlade-Chamberlain forced to run square. Across the field it comes to Rosicky. No forward movement at all here. Rosicky again now finds Sanya. Henry and Van Persie wait in the penalty area. In comes the cross. Good defensive header. Rosicki's knocked it back in again. Horribly wide towards the corner flag over on the far side for a Milan throw-in.
Yeah, exactly, throw-in. The ball comes down to Rosicky there. And he had time to chest it down, get it under control and get it on target, which is... I mean, that was a real decent opportunity once again there, and it's a real sadness from... I notice that Rosicky quite often... It doesn't help Arsenal that every time he gets the ball he goes inside. He never goes wide, he never goes down the line, and Arsenal sometimes have to tax the opposition down the left-hand side. Gives a little opportunity for AC Milan to make a change though.
Right, Robinho, having scored his 2 goals, is coming off, and here's some good news for Arsenal. It's only Pato coming on. Of course, everybody thought Pato was leaving Milan. They thought he was going to join Carlo Ancelotti at Paris Saint-Germain, but he's here still, and that put the end really to Carlos Tevez coming here. So Pato's on. Arsenal are heading for their heaviest defeat in the Champions League. I don't think they've ever been knocked out of Europe by an Italian side in the knockout stage in any of the tournaments they've played in over the years. In comes the cross into the penalty area. Van Persie's good header. Goalkeeper spilt it, but the clearance by Abate for a corner kick down this near side.
Well, that's 3 chances now, and they have been difficult chances. He's got them on target. Was it 2 for Van Persie, 1 for Henry? So they have got much better in this second half, but they're still second best on the night.
Corner kick to Arsenal. Header wayward again from Arsenal. Who got the last touch? It was a Milan defender. So it's another Arsenal corner. 4-0 down. Vermaelen and Giroud, who've had real problems at the other end. Now trying to go forward. The goalkeeper flapped at that one. Antonini can't control it on the edge of the penalty area. And now it's played long by Abate for Pato, his first touch down the left-hand side. Cross comes Sanya. It's the Brazilian Pato, having just come on as a substitute. Almost beat himself there and then loses the ball. A rusty touch there from him. And Arsenal have possession once more, and it's Rosicky playing over on the right-hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain is out of position at the moment. Henry glides the ball to Sanya. Van Persie waits. Arsenal have to be quick here. 5 minutes to go. 4-0 down. Rosicky back again to Sanya. They always want that extra pass. It doesn't reach Henry. It's a poor ball in, and it's headed away. Of course, the thing is about this Arsenal side, and the reason why I raised the question about the defending this is an Arsenal team, of course, who've lost this season away to Blackburn. They've lost away to Swansea. They've lost away to Fulham, and of course they were absolutely hammered at Manchester United, and they're 4-0 down here, and they have been hammered by Milan. Ibrahimovic with a penalty, 2 from Robinho, 1 from Boateng. Arsenal now look to Henry on the edge of the penalty area. He's beaten by Mexis. It drops to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oxlade-Chamberlain once more forced wide by the Milan defenders. Has to take the ball out of the penalty area. Still Oxlade-Chamberlain allowed to turn. Takes the ball to the dead ball line. Doesn't get the cross in, and it's cleared at the near post by Philip Mexis.
I'm delighted that Arsene Wenger's eventually done this now. I was complaining before about Rosicky here in the left wing. He never goes down the line. Milan are delighted with that. He's brought Oxlade-Chamberlain over to the left. He will go down the line. He will widen the play for Arsenal and make some space for the 2 centre forwards. Should have done that 20 minutes ago.
Of course, Arsene Wenger will unquestionably try and talk up the prospects for the second leg, but realistically they are non-existent. 4-0 down. Arsenal on the ball again, near side of the field. Oxlade-Chamberlain, unless they can get one back here. Ball across the field from Oxlade-Chamberlain. Antonini eventually cuts it out before Sagna can threaten, and Arsenal have a throw-in. We have 3.5 minutes of normal time to go. 2 or 3 to be added on. So 5 or 6 to go here. 4-0 to AC Milan on 5 Live. Arsenal's Thomas Rosicky with the ball, shuffling forward. So many Milan defenders in the penalty area. Vermaelen now, going a long way round. Vermaelen's ball in towards Van Persie. A good Thiago Silva header away. But Arteta will head it back in again towards Sagna. Poor header though. Thiago Silva scrambles across and plays the ball off Sagna. Brilliantly done there. And it's a goal kick for Milan.
Once again, I mean, it's good possession from Arsenal there. I think you mentioned the fact that it was one too many passes. And I would argue on top of that, it's not quick enough. I mean, they're passing it, but it's quite sluggish sometimes. If you're going to make plenty of passes, that's absolutely fine, as long as you're moving it quickly and dragging players out of position. There have been periods in this game so far that Arsenal haven't done that. But I don't know, the last 20 minutes or so, I think Arsenal have created a few chances. They've looked a bit livelier. I think he's made a difference, Oxlade-Chamberlain coming on. I think he's not created any massive chances himself, but just his pace and his willingness to stretch the opposition has helped Arsenal.
Big moment for Arsenal was when Van Persie's shot was saved by Abiati. It was a fantastic save by the goalkeeper. Free kick is given here, and Milan have the free kick, and they lead by 4-0 in the Champions League. Miserable night for Arsenal as Henry plants the ball. His farewell, of course, going back to New York tomorrow. As in goes Pato, and he's just given offside. He hasn't seen the flag yet down below us, but it's a free kick to Arsenal, and it's with Vermaelen, who began the night centre-back. Of course, they've lost Koscielny with an injury as well tonight, to add to the Mertesacker injury last weekend. So what sort of shape will they be in when they go to Sunderland at the weekend in the FA Cup? Arteta hasn't had a great night. Giroud now, on to Giroud. Time running away. 2 minutes to go here in the Giuseppe Meazza. 4-0 to Milan, who've really found some form tonight. Having scratched around a bit in January, they've really risen to this big event tonight and have surely done enough already to clinch a place in the quarter-finals.
You're going to get a lot of phone calls tonight. Arsenal fans are going to phone in, and I do think quite a few of them are going to ask the question, Oxlade-Chamberlain or Thuel again, because tonight, Oxlade-Chamberlain, he's looked livelier, he's looked hungrier, there's a willingness about him. Thuel was just...
Couldn't have been less effective, could he,
Walcott?
Walcott?
Absent tonight.
But now here goes Van Bommel onto Pato. Didn't control it first time. Giroud's looking for his goalkeeper, and eventually just enough to ferry it back to Szczęsny. Pato's first touch let him down there as he tries to ease his way back into football, having been out with a thigh injury. Arsenal now with Rosicky, left-hand side of the field. 45 seconds of normal time. 4-0 to AC Milan. It was always going to be a difficult night, but I don't think anyone really saw that there would be such a huge difference, such a big margin between Milan and Arsenal this evening. I mean, I have to say, before the game, I thought that I wasn't sure whether Arsenal were going to, get a draw or a victory, but I thought they'd score a goal here this evening.
I have to say, I thought they were having a great chance tonight. I thought they were coming here to get a result, not to keep the score down. A 1-0 wouldn't have been a disaster, but I thought, they can definitely get a result. Certainly the times that I've watched Milan this season, but really it's certainly the best I've seen them play for a long time. I think all the players have been in great form, and the big players have just turned up for the big day and put in their best performance.
3 minutes of added time. So many times this season watching the games from this stadium, it's been very flat atmosphere, lots of empty seats as well, but tonight they've all really enjoyed themselves on this freezing cold night. Nobody's noticed the temperature, the locals, although the Arsenal fans perched way high away to the left. They've had a miserable, torrid evening watching their side get absolutely thumped here by the Italian champions. Rosicky now into the Milan half. Ambrosini for Mexis, and Milan just have to see through now these last 3 minutes of added time. And we've almost played a minute of added time as well. Ibrahimovic, possibly the man of the match. Robinho's got a couple of goals. Ibrahimovic has played a massive part though when Milan took control of the game in the first half, and the Arsenal defenders just had no answer to him at all. It's Mexis, who Arsenal haven't really tested at all at the back. Into Nocerino, who's gone about his business quietly and effectively for Milan. Now Pato, brilliant flick from Pato into Emmanuelson. Emmanuel still looking to see whether Pato is available for the return. Instead he wastes it. He hits it into the crowd when Ibrahimovic was in a great position over on the left-hand side, and he was not impressed at all with the Dutchman, and that should have found its way through to Ibrahimovic.
Might be a few words to him after the game for that one, and talking about who's man of the match, and yeah, you're right to mention Robinho, but having scored a goal himself, Ibrahimovic made it himself and made 2 goals as well. I think he's a decent way ahead, and he deserves to get another opportunity there.
It's hard to think, Pat, isn't it, of anyone really in the Arsenal team that's done themselves justice tonight.
Not playing particularly well. The defence have been poor on the ball. I think they've been up against players that are better than them attacking wise, and sometimes that just happens. But I think distribution's been very poor from the back, and and it can sometimes go from there. If your distribution's poor from the back, you're not going to be able to build anything. Arteta's been well outplayed in the midfield. I'd say Ramsey's been very, very quiet. We've mentioned Walcott already. And up front, Van Persie got very, very little of the ball. But having said that, he's got himself a few chances, and the keeper's been up to them.
4-0 to Milan, and here come Arsenal now with Rosicky. Arsene Wenger, of course, as Ramsey goes into the penalty area and lifts one in, and Mexis almost got in his goalkeeper's way. But of course, Wenger's crusaded really on behalf of his young players, but it's interesting, and I know he's got Henry out there playing now, and the likes of Rosicky and Van Persie as well, but this Milan team, really the bedrock of their side is just experience all the way through, with people like Mexis and Ibrahimovic, Seedorf who started, Van Bommel, Ambrosini who's now on. I mean, players who've really been around. Lots of 30-somethings. Now a great ball to send Pato forward. Ibrahimovic is clear. Pato decides to go for glory. Goalkeeper makes half a save, and that's Ibrahimovic denied a hat-trick, really, because he's already got one, a penalty. There goes the final whistle. Ibrahimovic, even though he's won 4-0, I think he's going to talk to a couple of his colleagues here for a little bit of selfishness, but he shakes the hand of the Arsenal goalkeeper, and he knows that his team have been mighty here this evening. Arsenal have been desperately second best in every department on the pitch. They were outfought as well for long periods in the midfield battle. Milan have risen to the occasion, and Arsenal have been thrashed here by 4-0.
Well, your reaction is pouring in at the moment on Twitter. Mr. HSK says, we may not win anything, Arsenal, but we have the best set of management accounts and profit loss figures ever. That's what football's all about. Tim Payton from the Arsenal Supporters Trust, today's result is an inevitable manifestation of decline on and off the pitch at Arsenal. J. Peter Eric says, unbelievable amount of deadwood on the books at Arsenal. Some of it just gave away a penalty as well. Mark in Dorset, Arsenal's midfield have lost this for them. Arteta, Song and Ramsey, completely anonymous. And Piers Morgan on Twitter, sorry, this is Wenger's fault. This is his team, his tactics, his philosophy, his failure for nearly 7 years. Pat Nevin, this brings particularly his investment policy into sharp focus once again, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, if you're going to try and get to the very top level, you have to take on the best teams. Milan, for me, are a better team than I thought they were. Obviously, they're Italian champions, so they're not going to be poor. But I think they're a team that's improving all the time. And even we're talking about the fact that they've got good players that are, that are older, but the young players that they are bringing in are good enough to change it. Maybe that's the difference between them and Arsenal. The young players that are coming through at Arsenal, the ones that have been brought in recently, to make the step up to this level. Arteta just wasn't to that level tonight. He was a long way short of that level tonight. He's a good player, but this is a jump. And even the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's early days for him, but it was a lot said originally about Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott was lost tonight, and not for the first time he was lost tonight. And if you are relying on bringing Thierry Henry on at half-time to make the difference for you, to be honest, you are a distance away from a team that's going to chase Champions League.
The lines are open, 0500 909 693.